My favorite.
All right, I believe we're live now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Screaming into the Void number 15, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. Maester Chow is not with us today. He had other business to attend to. He will hopefully be with us again next week. But we do have Cat Hates Amazon Prime.
Death to Amazon Prime!
And joining us today is Shadow of Hawk 55. How do you want us to address you?
Shadow of Hawk 55. I'm okay. Cat knows my real name. I'm not comfortable letting that out at this stage, but
no worries. I just didn't know if you wanted me to say the whole thing with the numerical digits or
no. If you want to call me 55, you can call me 55.
All right.
Constant commenter. He's cool. He's always on my live streams as well. Friend of mine. He looks like my brother. It's very creepy. I cannot get over how much he looks like my brother Ibrahim.
To be honest with you,
keeping count of whenever you bring that up.
Yeah, you do look a little bit like some younger gentlemen that I know too. But you got kind of one of those faces, one of those familiar faces.
I mean, I look like my dad, and he's from Tennessee. So if you're from Tennessee, there's a higher odds of me looking like some people from there. So
no, I'm not from Tennessee. Oh, and this is Todd McCoy.
That one's taken, Carrie. And by the way, welcome to Ozzy and Carrie. Glad to see you here. 7-1, good to see you. We're going to get this party started. So this week, Kat and I had an interesting exchange on Twitter with a gentleman who I will not name here because fuck that guy. But it was from an account that was a day old, and it was just started attacking people left and right, mostly right, alt-right as he called them. And so I stepped in a little bit and spoke up. And the next thing I know, we're being called alt-right chuds. Now, if you guys followed Lawrence Knight and I did a stream on Thursday night. And we discussed this a little bit then because we were talking about horror movies. And so I'm a little bit appalled that the left has started using the word chud because it's an acronym for an excellent couple of really bad horror movies from the 80s.
What is it?
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Oh, that's what it means.
Yes.
I've been called that a few times on Reddit, and I'm like, I'm not familiar. Could you please... And I'm banned, so I can't even ask the question anymore.
Right. Yeah. And it 7-1, definitely a burner account, I think. So my issue with this is the fact that not only do I not eat people, I'm not that bad looking, and I don't live underground. None of that is accurate.
Yeah, well, me and Shadow, if you were to combine us both, he eats people and I'm underground.
No, I don't eat people. I'm not a cannibal. I'm a xenophage.
Corpus are people.
If they're from beyond the asteroid belt, they're belters, and that becomes contentious.
Yeah, Carrie, I did see that. I will get back to you as soon as I can.
And I gotta email you too.
Yeah. So that in mind, but yeah, he was just kind of attacking people for no reason, and he called what he said was he said to Kat here that she, like all of the other alt-right chuds, only hates new stuff because women and diversity. At which point I jumped in because the absurdity of that statement.
Yeah.
Woman and diverse.
I mean, I can kind of, like, there's no defending that at all.
No, but the best part is you didn't say.
He may have been blind. That meant we can't insult.
No, but you understand. My tag on Twitter is literally the hijabi gamer.
Right, exactly.
No. The best part is at one point he was so running out of ideas. Like I said, I told him, like, I'm only sticking around at this point because you are so hilariously funny. This is so stupid. At one point, he's like, 2 comments within 2 minutes, and he starts calling me alt-right again. You must be really triggered. I'm like, what? I mean, he kept using that meme of the triggered, and I'm sitting there laughing, finding him hilarious, and absolutely sure he's the one who's triggered, because sometimes there'll be long pauses before he responds, and you could tell he's like trying to figure out what to say. At another point, he's like, "You misspelled scraping. I put 2 P's." And he's like, "You can go back to elementary school and learn how to spell."
Now, keep in mind, she's needling him after she has told me that it's not worth getting into it with him repeatedly.
Look, okay, if there's one thing that my 19 years on this world has told me, well, more like the last 5 years, if there's one thing you can count on humanity to be, it's hypocrites. Cat's a human, gonna be a hypocrite. Why am I pointing at Sammy?
But it got so funny because at one point, I mean, it got so funny because and I was dropping it. I just retweeted it to be like something about how this guy likes the Rings of Power, and and he's like, "You liar! You're like all your alt-right lying buddies. I never said I liked it." I'm like, okay, so either you've never watched it, or you don't like it. So what's the point? And he's like, "I'm defending Amazon's right to remove your 1-star review." So I'm like, okay, you're a corporate shill. And he's like, "I'm not a corporate dude. You are literally." So I kept going. So now after that, I'm needling him because I'm like, dude, bend over and take it from Jeff Bezos. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure that check from Jeff Bezos will come in the mail soon.
Oh, that's a terrible image, Kat. Do you know what that puts me in mind of? Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
No.
Okay, so
I never did. Please don't put that image in my head.
I'm going to put it in everybody's head. There's an episode where George Costanza, who's played by
I
Jason,
know what he looks like.
I can't remember his last name. Anyway, he's balding, and he meets this beautiful black woman, and he's going to go, do naughty things with her. And he says to her, "I want to dip my bald head in butter and rub it all over your body." And then he does. And that's what I think of when you say bend over for Jeff Bezos.
Ew, 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 ew. Oh God, now I gotta think of Kai. Remember that time you told me about Kai and his spine. Just think of Kai getting his spine ripped out. Kai getting his spine ripped out.
And first of all, why do you think that type of stuff makes me feel happy? Okay.
Because there's stuff like what he just said.
I mean, I'm an eldritch space entity. I'm an eldritch space entity here. It's my job to bring madness and despair.
That is fair. Why am I pointing at Kat? That is fair. He's got a point.
He does have a point. But no, that's why I was going to drop it, and then so I actually deleted the comment. So he finally brings it up again. I was going to drop it, but then you lied about me, dude. I removed the comment to correct, and I even said that I was wrong, and I said I removed the comment to correct my mistake, and then I added. This is when I finally. That's why I added, dude, I assumed better of you. I assumed you actually watched the show. No, it turns out you didn't even watch it. You're just a corporate shill. I'm like, you're mad at me for assuming better of you. I mean, nobody defends the show this much. So like, you must have watched it. It's like you're defending a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm sure Amazon really appreciates you attacking. I didn't say this, but I nearly said, I'm sure Amazon really appreciates you attacking a minority and a Muslim woman because, maybe I should tell them that you're harassing them. And I'm like, you know what? This isn't harassment. This is just me harassing him.
I could already see the BuzzFeed headlines. Internet troll harasses minority woman over Rings of Power opinion. And then they delete all the articles when they realize that it was a left-winger attacking a right-winger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is how it goes sometimes. But yeah, so we got called alt-right today or the other day. It was Thursday, I think. And that was a lot of fun, and that goes right in line with this other thing that I found out just the other day myself that I wasn't even aware of until the other day.
What?
So if y'all are having trouble seeing that, basically that means that Jack Murphy has blocked me.
Oh, I haven't even followed him. I knew there was.
Wait, so does that mean he just went like down a list of like, all right?
That's my assumption. Yes, that is my assumption.
Or did he like find out about you and go, oh, this guy's getting big? He's probably going to come after me at some point. I need to.
No, it might have. Odds are it was because of some of the people that I follow that he probably just went down the list and went on a whole block extravaganza. But
gotcha.
It also might have to do with I possibly sent him some nasty tweets at the beginning of the year.
Oh, Samuel
Around the
tells
time that
me.
all that was happening. I'd have to go way far back in my timeline. I don't actually remember that doing that, but it does sound like me. So,
Yeah.
I
But-
don't even follow him on Twitter, I'll admit. I don't know. It got, to be honest, after a while, after the 5 or 6 videos a week, I kind of got really tired of listening to. I really don't care about Jack Murphy at this point. It was like, wow, you guys are really fixated on this guy.
Wait, isn't it pronounced Jacques Murphy if we're going off of Advanced Geeks and Gamers?
I mean, we could do that, or we could call him
No.
John Goldstein or Goldman or whatever the hell his actual name is. But hey, Carrie, I didn't claim to be darkness and despair. I claimed to bring it. And here you are.
You brought it. You brought it. I prefer his darkness and despair at this point, because at least it's
Hey,
It's
edginess and pain, not darkness and despair.
again. Let's not forget, what did he do? He wanted to rip Kai's spine.
I made a suggestion
to
make your content a little bit more interesting. What you should be bringing up is the fact that I put your character in a bucket.
Oh, right. Yes.
Did you bring that up last week?
Yes, I did. He killed my character.
I didn't kill your character. That would be so. In our D&D campaign, she and 2 other people were fighting a mini boss, while the 3 other people were on a ship fighting another mini boss. And I get, as the DM, lucky enough to bring her down to 0 hit points, and she's behind some barrels. Manages, if anyone knows about anything about D&D, she makes her 3 death saving throws. She's unconscious. She's fine. A character named Vigor runs up to her and tries to heal her. Rolls a nat 1 on his medicine check. So I say that he opens up the wound and she's got to do death saving throws again. Then he antagonizes the mini boss. And it was like the end of the fight. I thought, hey, you know what? I might as well bring him down to 0 hit points. So I trigger like a suicide bomb type attack.
Yeah.
He uses some abilities to take no damage. Cat is right there in direct line of this final attack, which was like an 8th, 9th level spell, if I remember correctly, at 3 death saving throws. That's like 80 damage that she took. Red smear on the wall. They scooped up as much of her into a bucket as they could and took her to a temple to revive her.
I mean, and the worst part is I found out later that if that guy had just picked me up and taken me with him,
no, he couldn't have.
He
couldn't have, because he spent his action to try to bring you back. If he hadn't done the medicine check, he could have taken you with him.
Yeah. It was something that it would have been so easy to save, but it was like, instead I ended up in a bucket.
Or if he hadn't rolled a nat 1, then he wouldn't have caused you to suffer your death saving.
So now he wonders why I avoid Discord with a passion. Every time he mentions D&D, it's like every single time he mentions D&D, the first thought that goes in my head is, oh shit, what is he going to do now?
I gave you a lizard folk friend.
He finally gave me a friend. Finally. But does that make up for being in a bucket? Please, Samuel.
I think it does, personally.
Oh no! Please continue. This is gold. I'm just gonna sit back here. And
you're the unbiased person. Do you think that a friend makes up for being dead in a bucket?
I mean, it's a start.
It's a start.
What about if she actually coordinates with me on a solo session? She can make a one-handed flamethrower with a bayonet. That is on the table. Would that be enough to make amends?
I guess, but I want one for Tiso as well.
I mean,
that is your character. You can do whatever you want.
I suppose.
I don't write your characters. You do.
Look, Look, Doug McCoy. It isn't that I hate Discord. I hate social media as a whole. I am too old for this stuff. The reason why I forget my cell phone 90% of the time is because I remember the good old days when you can leave and separate yourself from the world, when you could spend time not having to worry that people will be able to reach you. I remember those good old days. Now it's I didn't even get a cell phone until only about a couple years ago, because the idea of being able to escape. I'm an introvert. There's one guy who actually discovered me. He works near me. And he's the only person who's actually recognized me from YouTube. He's like, oh, you're the hijabi gamer. He can tell you that I am shy and nervous around him because I am naturally an introvert. So I mean, look at me on Twitter as well. I will spend a whole week not answering DMs because I'm a shy, quiet introvert who spends 90% of my time in my own head.
Yes, but you'll spend all day needling a troll too.
Hold on,
That was for fun. I mean, come on. The guy was like, "You made two."
Rogue, it's not UA. It's not Hill. It might be Hilda Lore. It's definitely not. Oh, ignore me. I'm just trying to figure out who it is you're talking about. Carry on.
No, it's not. No, it's someone from Geeks and Gamers, actually. Not a Geeks and Game. He saw me from Geeks and Gamers, so he recognized me.
He's a hate watcher.
Oh no, this guy, the guy who I met in person, who recognized me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, he isn't a hate watcher. No, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I interacted with him in chat, and I mentioned you, and he said, "Oh yeah, I saw her the other day," and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, there's actually
said hi, I guess.
One person who actually has met me in person. And it was really, really disconcerting. It was weird to have someone come up to me and be like, "You're the hijabi gamer." I'm like, yeah. That's weird.
Imagine having that happen at work. Just like you're like trying to fill out an order and he like walks up and it's like, "Yeah, I need this." "Oh, hey, how you doing? How you doing, Kat?" And it's just like, who are you?
No, it was at work. He wasn't a customer, but it was at work. So that's why it's like, I have to. I'm like, please respect, where I work. This is private. But no, it was at work.
Yeah. I could just imagine how bad it would be if one of my professors or one of my classmates is like, "Hey, you're that guy. You're a prick." That would be bad.
Yeah. What's this about? Video sent from Devin. 3 times fascism. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look into that. As we've stated before, we don't get like super political on this channel. It comes up, but it's not like the focus. Yeah. For that, I usually reserve that for the Exiled Lioness channel, which, by the way, Shadow of Hawk, if you're interested, I'd check her out too. She's pretty right-wing also.
What'd you say the name was?
The Exiled Lioness.
Yeah, I'm subscribed.
Exiled Lioness.
Yeah. A lot of our guys in our chat here, myself, Lawrence Knight, who you saw probably on the show last week, we're all mods for her. And gotcha. Ozzy and Boa are both members of her fan base. We call it the Pride, not the gay pride, the Lion Pride.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
Yeah, I got her channel. I got her channel pulled up. Yeah, I'll give some of this a look.
Yeah,
and I recommend Night's Watch if you have. Again,
I was watching Chad. I was watching Night's Watch when it first hit. I mean, like, I think I've told you this, Kat, before. Like, when it comes to consuming like the media involving like just shows and stuff, I've got like a dozen different channels that I know about. I have on my radar that I'm subscribed to, but I'll watch 1 or 2 and then I'll alternate between them all. So currently, I'm not watching Night's Watch as much as I probably should be. Eventually, it'll end up back in my cycle of like.
Yeah, I would dump everyone else except for Night Watch. I barely watched Nerdrotic's review on Rings of Power. I did watch.
Drop Joker Voice.
Oh wait, everyone subscribe to Joker Voice. My goal, by the way, Samuel, I hope you don't mind. Look. Okay, Samuel, Shadow. Look, we have so many horrible things going on in the world today, right? And there's so much in entertainment that sucks. So you know what? I've decided to focus on something positive and get Joker Voice to 500 subscribers because it's something to look forward to. Okay.
Fair enough. You guys heard her. Go check his stuff out and subscribe if you like what he's got.
Like I said, it's something positive to try and focus on, other than the corpus.
Yeah. Let me see. You could drop his link in the chat if you want.
Let me find it because
that'll cool. I'll just fuck it up. Yeah, that by all means, shill for anybody you think is worthwhile. Hell, I'm shilling for the Lioness all the damn time, but I more or less work for her. So,
your job.
Oh my god!
Well, she's not paying me. I'm her friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I do a lot of the back behind the scenes.
Yeah,
stuff.
You're a student athlete. You're a word Susan Wojcicki doesn't like hearing on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh, student athletes. Yes, I love that idea. Now, how do we get their likenesses for video game rats?
It took me took me a second to figure out what you were referencing, and once I did, I see Cartman in his little southern hat, with his little
These
southern
are some
mustache.
strong workers you got here, sir.
I'll give you
Wait,
30,000 for the.
I'll give you $40 for the whites and 50 for the black.
Wait, what? What did I miss?
South Park. I'm quoting South Park.
It's there's an episode of South Park where Cartman's trying to figure out how universities get away with not paying their athletes.
Okay.
So he goes and he offers them money for their athletes. It's sort of a slave thing.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, Trey and Matt are kind of alluding to student athletes as being like not as bad as slave labor, but like they've got an opinion and they're expressing it by having Cartman approach a member of like a college football team dressed up as someone from the deep south, like not a Klansman, but like a rich plantation owner with that thick southern accent.
No, I just saw.
I love how evil Eric Cartman is.
Like, you should come on down to the plantation and I'll show you some of my chitlins.
No, oh my god, I just saw because I was opening my YouTube to find Joker Voice's channel. Midnight's Edge just released a video called "Watching the Rings of Powers Like Eating Rancid Cat Food," and there's a picture of a cat for their thumbnail.
That sounds like that sounds like Midnight's Edge.
Yeah. This is kind of topical. Bringing up Lord of the Rings. You shield and you shield. Do you mind if I shield for someone?
I'm pretty sure I just said go ahead.
Go.
Yeah. So I have I've interacted with him a little bit on Discord. I don't have any actual connections with him, but if you want some actually good Lord of the Rings content in this trying time, go check out on YouTube Izzy. He's a Total War Medieval 2 YouTuber. He does specifically Divide and Conquer, which is the Lord of the Rings mod for that. Really good content. He puts more effort into his intros than Amazon did in the Rings of Power. He's an amazing Lord of the Rings YouTuber.
I will look him up then. Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie, I did hear something about that. There are riots for a couple of reasons in Iran right now. But we'll probably talk about that. I think she's planning on doing a stream tonight. So
wait, have you heard anything about Egypt? Because I know Egypt, a lot of their food comes from.
I have not. The Iran thing just came to my attention like 12 hours ago.
Okay,
Iran's the place that's like also having those issues with the the women's rights protests. It's like I saw on my news feed that a bunch of women were like getting rid of their hijabs and like cutting their hair short, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Is that right, or am I misremembering?
No, you're correct. Iran is interesting because it's not your typical Middle Eastern country. It still remembers what it was like to be a world-spanning empire when it was the Persian Empire.
Mm.
In fact, Iranians don't call themselves Iranians; they call themselves Persian.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In the 70s, it was more common to see women in short, 60s style skirts with their hair uncovered, done up in a variety of like what you would consider provocative ways. It wasn't until I think the mid to late 80s that they started forcing the whole coverage. So let me say this.
First off, forcing women to wear it kind of defies the whole point, because one of the big things about being a Muslim is your intention, why you're doing what you're doing. I don't have to wear the hijab here in America, but I choose to wear it. So when you force someone, there's no choice involved. You're not deciding to do the right thing, at least according to religion. You're not deciding to do the religious thing. You have no choice. If you don't wear it, you could get in trouble. On the other hand, I don't like this whole idea that if you want to be a modern, free, progressive woman, they teach women in the Middle East that the only way you could be a modern, free, progressive woman is if you don't wear the hijab. I consider myself an independent, strong woman. I wear the hijab, and to me, the hijab actually is liberating for me. So I don't like the idea that these people they don't think for themselves. They don't, in some ways, I don't even think they understand their religion. I think a lot of the people in the Middle East they follow the most superficial levels of Islam, and they don't understand a lot of what's underneath. So they're easily like confused. And it was something that I had in, when I was younger. I mean, Egypt looks a lot like America. When I went to my cousin's wedding, there were more women without hijab than with hijab. I think it was just me, my cousins, and like 2 or 3 other people. I think if you're not going to wear the hijab, you need to understand why you wear the hijab so you can choose not to wear it. The whole idea that I just want to be like the Americans, it's the way to be free. You don't have to not wear the hijab to be free. Because you can't tell me that I'm not a free woman. This is something I chose to do. And so they're doing it out of a false, just out of sheer ignorance in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
See, also, I think part of it is it's also it's not.
Real quick, this
Sorry,
image is from 1970 in Iran.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, Egypt would surprise you as well. Like I said, the women aren't wearing the hijab, but most women aren't wearing it. As I said, I went to my cousin's wedding, and the vast majority, you would not have believed. In fact, it's hilarious. You find more religious weddings in America than in Egypt. Like here in America, most Muslim weddings, you'll have the women and the men separated. Because the Muslim women in America, a lot of them are wearing hijab and they want to be able to take it off. And it's more, so they prefer to have the gender separated. There are some where they mix, but it was literally like an American wedding. You would not believe that this was a wedding in Egypt if everyone wasn't speaking in Arabic. Literally, it was like I said, it was just me, my cousins, 3 of my cousins. Like most of my cousins don't even wear the hijab. If I were to go on my father's side, my uncle Ismail has like 3 daughters. None of his daughters are wearing it. My aunt, none of them are wearing it. It's just me, who's my father's only daughter, and my uncle Hussein has 3 daughters.
Just one quick question, Kat. You know you posted the Joker voice link in the private chat, right?
I just copied it.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have the window open for the chat.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Understood.
Anyway,
Sorry.
I know that's my view on that's my view on the whole thing. I think that people, they don't understand that you don't. I mean, I'm not saying that it should be forced. I don't want to sound like. I think that people should if they're going to not wear it, they need to understand why they're not wearing it, why people do wear it, instead of just being like, I want to be like the Americans. It's sort of like, no, because another thing that they do in Egypt is a lot of people own dogs. Why do they own dogs? Because the Americans have dogs. And the problem is
dogs are adorable.
Well, no, I don't get me. No, the problem is they see Americans with dogs, but they see them like on TV. They see the superficial aspect of owning dogs. But they don't understand the responsibility of owning dogs. Most of the people I know who own dogs in Egypt have not fixed their dog. It's not spayed or neutered at all. They don't put their dog on a leash. So me and my cousin were walking in the beach area at my grandmother's house, and this dog suddenly starts barking at us, really like basically attacking us. And we didn't know, there's no collar on the dog. There's no way to know it's a person's dog. So even me, I'm not scared of dogs like my cousin. My cousin Robot is terrified of dogs. I was scared because I don't know, is it a wild dog? If it bites us? So they don't understand. They let their dogs shit everywhere. Here in America, you have to pick up after your dog. In Egypt,
we just let our homeless shit everywhere.
Yeah, we just let our homeless. So,
we have tighter rules on the animals than we do on the people.
No, but it tells you that they don't understand.
That actually, hold on. That is a great point, Shadow, you brought up just now. This is something that has been eating at me for years. People who treat their dogs like they're children.
Oh, God, I hate that.
They're not your children. They're your fucking pets. They're not people. They're not your relatives. They're animals, and you are above them. Period.
Like, what level are you talking? Because, my family, my dad's got, for example, for my dogs, we've got, one of them's got some pretty bad allergies, so my mom will get, medication to help with that.
Yeah.
But, and my dad thinks it's like he's a dog. He doesn't need it. Are you talking like that, or are you talking dressing him up in the costumes?
Oh, I hate that.
I think there are degrees, but you have to realize at a certain point, it's your pet, not your relative, not your child, not your whatever. Yeah. They make antidepressants for dogs now.
Are you kidding me?
It's a dog. If
It's
your
a
dog
dog.
needs antidepressants, you're a shitty owner.
Number one,
No.
if either you're a shitty owner or you adopted a dog from, a place where
How do
dogs
you know?
go
Wait,
when they've had shitty owners, why would you bring something that is unstable into your household, especially if you have actual children?
No, but the thing is also, how do you even know the dog is depressed? Just take it outside and play a little. The dog's gonna start bouncing around.
Yeah, like
Look, I joke around. I will say, I will joke around and say, like I'm like, Mama loves Buster so much. But honestly, I treat my cat like a cat. Like I love my cat. And I acknowledge that my main issue is the responsibility of owning the animal. So, like for example, if I travel, I have to make sure she has someone to take care of her. Not because she's my baby, it's because I'm responsible for this animal. She's my I don't spend thousands of dollars on bling and all of that nonsense. I don't buy her clothing. At the end of the day, she's a cat. She's not gonna want a diamond necklace around her neck. She has a collar with a bell.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't like it and she loses it, which Her Majesty lost her last collar with the bell, and I had to buy her a new one.
When you call it, you can't be saying shit like Your Majesty even in sarcasm, because cats don't get sarcasm. They think you're serious. Like Bo was saying here, you've never been owned by a cat. Damn straight, and I never will be. Free the humans.
See, we're talking about dogs and cats. See, I think there's only one animal that would be the best kind of pet for humanity to have, and that is the Tyranids from Warhammer 40K. I cannot think of a single reason why we shouldn't
They will
have them
eat
be.
you. I know. No. I know enough about the Tyranids to know that they will eat you.
So will
Imagine.
dogs?
Yeah,
No,
after you
okay,
die,
so
Tyranids will not
dogs will
wait
feel
until you're
sad
dead.
about it, though. Cats won't even wait till your body's cold.
Exactly. A Tyranid will feel something. The cat won't feel something.
No. The Tyranid will kill you and eat you. The cat
No, it
will at
won't.
least wait until. Yes, it will. The cat will kill. Will at least. Yes.
Horrible.
7-1, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. That is a big commitment. Those things live for like 70 years.
Yeah. They're also
and
really
they
damn smart.
are very, very specific in their care. So do your research first if you're going to do it. But more power to you. It's
Get a cat.
cats and parrots don't exactly get along either.
Of course they do. It's not the cat's fault that they eventually get hungry.
I think it would depend. Like cats and dogs.
See,
Like the
that's
whole thing
why
with
it's a problem. You are keeping apex predators in your home, and they even believe that they're apex predators when other predators, such as large dogs, who they could not possibly take in a fight, they still think they're above them. Cats are the most arrogant sons of bitches on the face of the earth.
I can name one more arrogant. If I can name something way more arrogant, I get another shout out.
Okay.
Politicians.
Okay.
I mean, those aren't really,
I don't think they're
people.
human.
They walk on the face of the earth.
And they're not people.
They do. But I you know what though? I think that cats even believe they're above politicians.
Yeah, but
That
my
wasn't what it was. The
cat
bet
here
was more
on
arrogant.
cat here on my at my side here. She hails from a people who used to worship the damn things as gods.
Yes, but when we worshiped them as gods, we ruled the world. So they rewarded us for the worship.
You didn't rule the world. You ruled like a river and a bit of coastline.
No, we wrote at the time. It was the known world, okay? The known world. The world that mattered, okay? Egypt ruled the world that mattered.
My ancestors were making Stonehenge while yours were getting kicked in by the Romans.
Yeah, but at the time, it's what
you're
mattered.
saying that she had already her civilization, her massive successful civilization, was already on the decline by the time your ancestors were pushing rocks up a hill.
Yes.
Yes. So,
exactly.
I mean, let's put it in perspective here.
And I'm going to stand by my statement.
The massive civilization who had antibiotics. The honey was used as an antibiotic. Was treating broken bones and doing brain surgery. Okay, fine. It was drilling a hole in your skull, but it did relieve the pressure.
But let me ask you a question.
Sometimes
which group were invited to join the Roman Empire, and which group were subjugated by the Roman Empire?
Yeah, because we were so terrifying and overwhelming. They were like, "Oh my God, we can't." Hey,
Then-
there's a
Then why was
story.
Egypt just an overgrown 7-Eleven for hundreds of years under the Roman Empire?
I'm gonna just real quick. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, it
warn
was
you
the
guys.
Greeks. My bad.
Carrie is a historian, and he gets a little touchy about stuff.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. No, I'm mostly thinking from I'm mostly thinking from HBO's Rome. How like you think Egypt is epic and awesome, and then they're just farmers for the Romans, basically.
Yes, we're epic and awesome. On top, there was the story of this charioteer who ran over a cat, and the people were so mad that they rioted and killed the guy. Even though the pharaoh was saying, we need to be nice to the Romans, stop doing that, or the Greeks, and they killed him anyway because he ran over a cat. A cat.
Yeah.
We still built the pyramids. You built a monument of stones.
And giant statues of burning men, if I remember what the Wicker Men are correctly.
They were made out of what?
They were
Sticks?
effigies, yes.
Yeah, like, and didn't they also put people in them, or is that just yeah?
That's a thing. And it wasn't just wicker men. They made wicker all kinds of stuff, but usually it was to house their living, burning sacrifices.
Yeah.
Some of those guys are my ancestors too.
We mummified our sacrifices, so our sacrifices live for eternity.
Yeah,
and they ended up
mummified them alive though, so there was that.
Yeah, but they still get to live for eternity. We did them a favor.
I mean, we can both agree they were wrong though. So they mummified themselves for no reason.
So
no, we don't know that. We don't know that. Maybe the technology exists where 1,000 years from now we will bring all those Egyptians back. You never know that. In fact, for all we know, the corpus could be ancient Egyptians brought back to life.
Yeah, 7-1. We're kind of winging it, which is fine.
Oh, like here's how winged it is. 15 minutes before we start, Kat goes, "Hey, do you want to be on Samuel's podcast?" And I'm like, "I got nothing better to do. Sure, let's do it."
Well, first he asked me if he needed to set up Zoom, and I was like, "No."
Well, no, like I didn't know what system you guys do.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was like. He didn't even know. He didn't even know what system to do, and I'm like, "Here's the link."
With StreamYards, all you need is the link. Guy, whoever sets it up is the one who needs to actually have the program, and and even then, it's a free program, free download. You got to pay for the upgrades and all that stuff, but the basic version is actually very, very workable.
Yeah.
Everyone has confirmed, I'm going to mention one thing. Everyone has agreed with me every time I've brought it up that not a single person has not at some point in their life wished they were Egyptian. When they went to school, they saw the pyramids and the Sphinx. Every single one of those kids went, wouldn't it be cool to be Egyptian?
See, the first time I ever heard of Egypt was in relations to the story of Moses. So
then you would have been the slave owners. Then you would have been the slave owners. What would you rather be?
They killed babies.
That's beside the point.
There are lines.
The Harfoots leave you to die, and everybody loves the Rings of Power.
Nobody loves the Harfoots. Let's be real.
Yeah, nobody loves the Harfoots. That is so messed up.
People keep waiting for the Harfoots to just sort of like lemming themselves off a cliff.
It could only be episode 1. I don't hate them as much as people are like.
Oh,
people are like saying they're horrible, and I'm like episode 1. I'm like, okay.
No. Shadow. How far have you gotten into it?
I only watched episode 1.
That's why.
The views on my channel were shit, so I didn't make a second review.
Episode 3. Do you mind spoilers?
I'm not gonna watch it, so go ahead.
All right. So the Harfoots go on about, how they go on about how we, the Harfoots have each other. We have our hearts as big as our feet.
No, I haven't heard any of that from them. All I know from them is that elves have their forests, dwarves have their mountains, humans have their fields, even trees have their soil, but Harfoots continue to travel like the stream.
Well,
that's
the
all I know.
Harfoots, they go on about how they have each other and they have each other's back, right? Anyway, apparently, when they travel, if you fall behind, they leave you behind. They actually have this whole moment, right, where they're like, we will always carry you with us in our hearts. And then they have this moment where this older Harfoot is reading through their book, reciting everyone who has died. You know Poppy? What's her name? Nori's friend? One of the 2 main female Harfoots, right? Her entire family is dead! Everyone is dead! They were left behind to article in like episode 2, and they're like, we don't know if he'll be able to push the carriage, and they're like, they're going to leave them to die. It's like, you don't have anybody who can help with pushing the carriage. That's why the Harfoots are more deplorable, disgusting, and psychotic than even the goddamn Corpus. You know, the guys who worship Prophet aren't even that heartless.
When the Hardfoots sound like worse people than you.
Yes.
He agrees.
I mean, Poppy's entire and then the latest episode. Did you see the Royal Rumble last night?
No, I was in the middle of some stuff. I caught the end of it when they're like, "All right, everyone, tonight, just remember to check everyone's channels, give subs." And I'm like, "Well, I missed the whole thing. I might as well not watch the last 5 minutes."
There's a point where he points out that there's this one part that feels the most Tolkienian, and it's Poppy singing a song, and they're traveling, right? And yes, in a way it does, until you realize you're watching the Harfoots, who are so un-Tolkienian as possible. And then you realize this poor kid, Poppy, is singing her mother's song, her dead mother's traveling song. So I'm like, to me, this is about as Tolkienian as having that song and having the Corpus pushing carriages. Because that's how Tolkienian it is. Having Corpus singing a stupid song about traveling. It is, yeah.
That's why my rating is 4 out of 5 if it was a generic fantasy setting. It could be a 6 or a 7 if they tweaked a few things. 1 or 2 because it's trying to be Tolkien.
No, if you watch Night's Watch, it will drop your rating. That's why I highly recommend Night's Watch, because
a lot of the writing. I've seen a lot of Shad's older videos on like writing techniques and stuff, and I can't really imagine if he's changed his opinions on a lot of stuff. Like, he is one of the people I went to learn about writing. So unless he's had like dramatic changes in opinions on like writing, which is possible, I think a lot of those videos were made like a year or 2 before he posted his novel. But I will when I get around to watching it, I will tell you when I did. I don't know if it's going to change my opinion too much.
Look, all I know is he points out things that you will not notice. He points out things in the dialogue that makes you go, damn, that's stupid.
I noticed a lot of that already.
No, he points out a lot more stuff.
All right. Yeah. Sorry for kind of taking over, Samuel.
Nope, you're good. You're good. I've been sitting back and enjoying the discussion myself. I don't have a lot to add to it because I haven't watched this garbage and I'm not going to.
I only watched it to try to like jumpstart my channel again with relevancy, and I got 14 views in 7. I got like 14 views in 7 days, so totally worth the hour of suck. What Bo was saying.
I mean,
yeah, he's not wrong.
Look,
like they bought the appendices, and I've ranted to Kat about this. Sorry, wrong person. I've ranted to Kat about this a few times. They have the rights to do like what I would have done is with like the Hobbit series up like by Dale, up by Mirkwood, like all that Erebor. They could have done a parallel series to the trilogy because we don't really know. Like even Tolkien only had like some of like the main characters up there and who dies and who lives. He didn't really. They could have taken that as an opportunity to flush out that whole area.
No, you know what's better?
Their whole like the world is very diverse. Run is literally Arabia, Asia. Like they could have had a very diverse population from coming up from Run. Some of them could have been evil, and some of them could have been fleeing the evil people because not everyone in Run is going to be evil.
Well,
they could have legitimately told a good story, but they didn't.
No. What they could have done is they could have gone to the public library, looked through the fantasy section, found an author who has some obscure fantasy that actually is really good. Like they could have spent a year reading.
Oh yeah, they could have done that as well.
And then they could have bought for really cheap the rights to some obscure fantasy and done a good job of telling that story. But instead, they had to spend $250 on Tolkien only to make something that isn't Tolkien because hey, it's Tolkien, everyone.
Wait, only $250? That's cheap.
250 million.
Christopher Dying really dropped the price of Tolkien rights.
250 million.
You forgot the million part. There we go.
Oh,
that's the number that we got to consider.
But yeah.
Yeah. That was something that there was something that Kat brought up a while back too. Is apparently they had been saying that Mordor is in the Southlands, which it's not. If you look at the map, it's parallel with Gondor. The Southlands are Harad and Far Harad, and I forget the one that the Corsairs come from.
Umbar, which I believe is just a city.
Well, on the map, it's the word goes across a whole section of the coast.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So, but it's south of Far Harad.
I want to know
I
why
think their nation
they're.
is the R Odenheim, I believe, and then like the
Mhm.
Corsairs of Umbar were specifically the force coming up north. If I
Right.
haven't read the Silmarillion, I haven't read the trilogy yet. I do need to, but I've read a little bit of the wiki.
I'm gonna
So
warn you. I'm gonna warn you right now. The Silmarillion is very
Oh my
dry.
God, it is very. I could not finish it.
I know.
It's like,
I know. It's like I've heard it's like reading the Bible, which I
It's
also
like
need to
reading
do.
the Bible if a maintenance tech at Radio Shack wrote it.
I thought Loki was paced well, so this should be fine.
No, but the thing is, what I don't understand is why the hell are they going based on information from like hundreds of years ago? Well, you don't know Shadow of Hawk as well that you don't know about is that mark of Sauron that she's running after and has been searching for hundreds of years. It is a map of Mordor. If you turn it sideways, and she's in Numenor, and she's in the library in Numenor, and they find a spy's like message written in the dark script that's been around for several hundred years saying Sauron is invading the Southlands. And she's like, oh my God, we found out Sauron's plan. He's invading the Southlands. Several hundred years ago, woman. Why the freaking hell are you the paper that's on? You've been searching. First of all, you didn't in all those centuries go, huh, that looks like a map of Mordor. In the hundreds of years of staring at that mark, you didn't go,
Look. She buffed up. She spent all of her skill points on swordsmanship and buffing up her waypoints so she could like find shit. She didn't. If she had put a few more points into intelligence or had got like a friend to be player 2, if she had brought Elrond along with her, she would have had someone who's spec'd out for intellect build. She didn't do that though.
If you're going to write a character that's several thousand years old, I'm sorry, she's not young. No matter how young that is by elf standards. I mean, I've used the example during my live stream of Darvo Beck. Darvo Beck is Corpus. He's 100 years old. He's considered young by Corpus standards. He's not a child. He has 100 years of experience. If you live 1,000 years, which the Corpus lived for thousands of years as well, a 100-year-old Corpus is very young, but he's still a full-grown adult who's lived for 100 years, runs his own business, and isn't stupid. So it's the same thing here.
It gets better. The average Numenorian lifespan was close to 250 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dwarves live only slightly longer than that.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at it, Numenorians are basically just watered down elves.
They have some elvish blood, but they are men. They're just long lived and
like they are
blessed with good health.
Elves, and then human, diluting it for a long period of time.
Yeah, Aragorn was like 80 years old.
Welcome.
Oh, Mugsy Kids. Yeah, you weren't there, so I shut off my computer. Mugsy Kids wants to know my Guild Wars 2 server because she plays Guild Wars 2, and I've been playing Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, my fifth favorite Canadian.
Oh, so we have more Canadians in the chat today. Awesome.
If I remember correctly, I think Mugsy, you're Canadian, right? I'm 60% sure you're Canadian.
Well, Bo is Canadian. Ozymandias is Canadian.
Star Trek, well, no, yeah, no,
yeah,
but
it's actually the elves from Star Trek are very similar to what Tolkien wrote.
Vulcans. Vulcan. Is that Vulcan? Is that like something different
than
Vulcan?
No, it isn't. It's he meant Vulcans. But yeah, the Vulcans are very much like the elves from Tolkien.
But even the
Vulcans were probably inspired by them to a certain degree.
But the Vulcans lived to be like 200. In addition, Spock, when he went to Starfleet, he was a kid.
Spock lived to be 600.
Spock, no, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
There's that human genetics buffing up that.
No, he did. I'm sure. No.
That actually just.
I mean, if you're referencing the JJ movies, so help me.
No, I'm not referencing that. I knew how long Vulcans lived. Before.
I was like, but he was when he met Kirk, he was like something in the neighborhood of 90 years at that point already. He'd worked his way up already to that point, and he was like 90 then. And then later, when he is trying to reunify Romulus with Vulcan.
No, I'm sure.
He's pretty close to 200 some odd years old then. And if I remember canon right, at least in the books and such, he lives for like another 400 years.
Here it is. Vulcan Star Trek. Vulcans are typically depicted as stronger, faster, and longer lived than humans. However, Vulcans are less cold tolerant than humans. There are instances of them living over 220 years. I remember I'm like really because that
Sarek was
Spock
old too for a Vulcan.
Sarek was yeah, he
Okay, I
was
was trying to find that. Feel free to crucify me, but I prefer T'Pol over Spock to Vulcan.
Sarek died
Is
at
that
the age
because of her assets?
No, I
Sarek
just thought she was a more interesting character. Granted, I watched like Enterprise was the first Star Trek show I actually sat down and watched.
Yeah, and that'll be why, because I grew up on the original series and I watched the Next Generation as it aired.
Here it is.
I
Sarek
told
died
Cap feel free to crucify me. I could not like enjoy Next Generation. Like, I tried.
I know you're not.
I even like skipped ahead because I knew it took a few
it.
seasons for it to get rolling. I could not like any of like I didn't like the only character I enjoyed was Q.
No, I didn't like Next Gen. Yeah,
exactly.
Wait. So I found here. So I knew Sarek was 203 years old in Unification TNG when he died. Tuvok was 139 to 140 years old. T'Pau 144 to 145. T'Pol 108 years old in an alternate timeline. Spock died for the second time, age 162. Humans by the 24th century were also living longer than present-day humans. Leonard McCoy, for instance, was 136 to 137 when he visited the Enterprise D. And he was considered
but aside from Scotty, he was the only other human who was still alive when the Enterprise D was up.
Yeah,
up
and Scotty because they found him in a transporter thing.
Yeah,
but no,
he had been trapped.
I'm absolutely sure about the Vulcans only living 200 to 250 years because I had the Star Trek Encyclopedia back when I was really, really into it. And I think this is more from the beta, from some people when they were first making Star Trek. About 200 years is their average. They're not as long lived.
How many of those were peaceful deaths in their sleep and not results of medical?
Sarek died of illness. Sarek died of illness at 203, and he
what
was
kind of illness? Was it bubonic plague?
No, it was a Vulcan. I can't remember the name of it.
It was like Alzheimer's, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a degenerative elderly disease. He was old.
Gotcha. Okay.
I could show you if you let me show the screen.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I was just trying to start a long-winded.
If you look up Sarek in the age and like Star Trek Unification, you'll see his hair is white. He's clearly elderly.
If you want to share your screen, go ahead.
I'm not sure how I will show a specific screen.
Again, while she's trying to find that, like talking about the ages brings me back to if anyone remembers Mass Effect Andromeda, I've tried to bury that memory.
I actually am I the only person on Earth who actually enjoyed most of that game?
So the combat was fun. Some of the companions were not as painful as people like to make. Like I enjoyed Korra, I enjoyed Nyx. I thought Jaw was good. The others were kind of meh. They felt like reskins. Definitely, I wanted to like PB if she wasn't like explicitly like if she was like 60 or 70, which would have been like a teenager for the Asari. I would have probably liked her character more, but they wanted her to be romanceable because they wanted a new Liara, so they made her 100, even though she acted like a child. Yeah. And that's
I did like PB actually. I thought her character arc was really good.
Again, I liked the character. I just didn't like so she was the same age as Liara, or maybe a few years younger. Mm-hmm. But and yes, Liara is definitely, her personality is a lot more reserved, partly to her upbringing, but like legitimately PB came off to me as like a bubbly 15, 16-year-old girl who you could also romance as someone who's canonically like early 20s, and that just did not feel right to me.
Oh, fair enough. That image of Spock there, right? Tell me that doesn't look like a guy who's reaching Methuselah years.
Oh yeah, but he's like 162. Oh yeah, no, he's 162. The other reason, no, I haven't read Mass Effect yet, played Mass Effect yet. I do have it. It was on sale for $20.
This would be the one he's referring to is actually the supposed beginning of a new trilogy, which actually I think they're not going ahead with anymore.
The Andromeda one. No, I haven't.
Yeah, no, they've gone back to Mass Effect 4.
they had some interesting ideas with that, and going to a new unexplored galaxy was very cool, except that it was pretty limited how it happened.
Yeah,
Which I had an issue with. Like, there are only 2 new freaking alien species we run across. That I was like, really?
Because they wanted to do like a faded. They wanted to tell the same story as Mass Effect 1, down to like even the new characters, but they weren't. But like it, they were trying to go to a new galaxy, so they had room to do stuff. But they also wanted to tell the same story as Mass Effect 1. At least that's the vibe I got. And then I watched a bunch of reviews from people that basically reinforced that opinion.
Oh, yeah, I just remembered something totally different. So one of the things that stood out for me was the fact that their ages were very similar to their actual ages. So they based it, if you go on the Star Trek chronology, Kirk was 3 years younger than Spock and 6 years younger than McCoy, which is the truth. Leonard Nimoy was 3 years older than William Shatner. I don't know about DeForest Kelly, but I remember that Spock was 3 years older than Kirk. No, the reason is because I had the Star Trek encyclopedia. I had the Star Trek timeline, the chronology of the future. I read like the books, so that's how.
Oh no, like I could pull facts like that about like Warhammer, Star Wars, like stuff that I've actually taken. Like Silmarillion, when I actually read that, I will probably be able to quote it, and my dad will be pissed that I can't do the same thing for Scripture.
Well, that's like me with Destiny. At one point, I was like, I was born the moment the Traveler died. As everything collapsed around us. Before that day, there had never been a ghost. There had never been a guardian. I don't know much about the Traveler, but I know it made me to bring you back.
That's great.
You know, I quote different things.
Cthulhu.
Let's see. Let me pull one out of my ass here.
You can't imagine. No,
there's a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors on flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
Nice.
It's from Hellraiser 3.
What?
It's from Hellraiser 3.
I have to watch that.
Huh. Yeah.
No, Boa Omega just said something about how he never owned a system after the like N64. The funny thing is, when the Nintendo Switch came out and you can buy Breath of the Wild, I was talking with a customer, and you can buy, when you bought Breath of the Wild, DLC for the game. So you could buy like a thing. And so I'm trying to explain to this guy what DLC is. So I'm like, do you have an Xbox? And he's like, no, the only other console I have is an Atari 7600 or something. Yeah, I'm with you, Seven Wand.
Yeah, like there are elements of it that I'm like, yeah, that's good. I enjoy that. And then it's, dear God, what have they done to the Fallen?
Yeah, well, the Fallen tastes delicious with ranch. Oh man, you missed it. Were you there when I was going on about the Drifter being in Warframe?
No.
Oh, you missed it. I was like, I would love to have that. So we were talking about a crossover between Destiny and Warframe. And I'm like, wouldn't it be awesome if you took Viso and you put him into Destiny, which is something I've been going on. But like, take the Drifter from Destiny and put him into Warframe and have him making random comments. He's like, I like eating corpus. It tastes good with ranch. How do you crack?
Nothing. On that note, nothing tastes good with ranch. Ranch is an abomination unto the Lord, whoever that Lord may be.
It's like I like
I've had ranch with like spicy no I
do not.
There's a chicken place actually. I won like a shirt. They were doing like a thing and I got a shirt from them. If you're ever in this is giving away my college, I don't care. If you're ever in Norman, Oklahoma, check out Nash Bird. It's a very good fried chicken place.
You know, it's funny that you.
They've got a very good pickled ranch that goes really, really good with their kickin' sauce.
Funny that you mentioned that. I do not live there or anywhere near there at this point, but I was born in Norman, Oklahoma.
No, I was wrong. They were the same age. Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner were the same age, but I know Spock was 3 years older.
Yeah.
No. All right, no, but Shadow's always gone about eating corpus, so he's like, I like to crack open their suits and eat them and dip them in sauce.
I don't know, Boa. I don't know. I'm an American and I don't get it.
Look, I just picked the first thing that came to mind. I was live streaming. I needed a sauce to go with corpus fries.
It's you know what, and that's here's the thing. Kat, you might want to cover your ears. This is going to get really vulgar.
I don't care. Teach
ranch
me more.
Looks like jizz with flecks of cancer in it.
Now I'm never going to be able to eat
consistency.
I'm never going to be able to eat ranch now.
With flecks of cancer in it.
Oh God, thank you. Now I'm never going to be able to eat ranch again.
I've heard worse.
It's the baby juice from a guy who really needs to see an oncologist.
I had somebody who at one point before the Nintendo Switch came out go that Joy-Con sounds like a sex toy. Now I can't say I don't like saying Joy-Cons. I always call them Nintendo controllers. But no, I was going on about the Drifter being like, yeah,
okay. Okay. Carrie has made three out of his three statements. There is one that's half correct, one that is correct, and one that is that is just put him on a like spit. Just burn him now. I'm gonna let you guys guess what it is.
Ranches. Well, I don't know. Ranches by God. Pineapple belongs on pizza. I've never had it, so I don't know.
I'm good with pineapple on pizza.
I've never had it.
Sometimes, as long as it's with the right. You don't want to put it with every topping, right? It does not go with chicken and bacon. Trust me. I tried it once. Not good.
Why did you bring me onto the stream with this psychopath?
Not good. But
because of what you did
like
to
it just
Kai.
fine with Canadian bacon, as I call it. I know everybody now is saying, "Oh, it's ham. We can't call it Canadian bacon." Fuck you. It's Canadian bacon. With regular bacon.
Wait, no, like they're two different things. Like I've been to places that serve Canadian bacon and ham. They are two completely different things.
You know, my oldest daughter was convinced for many years that it was called Canadian bacon because it came from Canadian pigs.
It doesn't come from Canadian pigs.
I'm
a Muslim. We don't eat bacon.
Yeah.
So should I tell her it wasn't that smoky barbecue pork?
Bacon. Corpus. I don't know. I brought you on because of what you
wait,
did.
Kat, I do have a very, very, very important question for you.
Oh no.
Is smoky barbecue pork halal?
You know what? I don't know. I wonder.
Real
Let
quick.
me think about this. Maybe I need to go pull out a Quran.
Yes, Samuel?
I'm going to address this comment real quick. And again, Kat, it's gonna get vulgar. Have you never rubbed one out, dude?
I think he's implying the texture, not necessarily how it feels. That is a different kind of confession.
All right, Mom, I'm sorry. Just don't watch this one.
I think it's a little bit too late for that little warning.
I'll call her later. She almost never watches the live, which is good.
This is gonna be the one time she watches it, and you're just gonna get a phone call that's like, Samuel, I heard what you said. You can't be saying those kinds of things on the internet. Now you're going to extra church.
Yeah.
I apologize for that
something
horrible
to that
interpretation of your mother.
Although
I'm certain she's a wonderful
she
woman.
hasn't gotten me to go to extra church or any church for a very long time. But
No, I'm sure the ex-Elitis would be horrified by some of the stuff I say. I remember she said something like, how wearing the hijab and being it's like I am like the worst.
we're gonna you know what, Carrie, you and I will have a discussion, a comedic fun discussion about that sometime offline.
Wait, there's a distinction between sea snails and they eat snails also, right? In the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
No. In the Rings of Power, Nori brings the Gandalf wannabe snails, right? And he pops them into his mouth. It's like
Yes, they're trying to rip off people who have fine dining.
No. This is in the Rings of Power.
Yeah, exactly. That's yeah. Like duck liver was considered like mashed duck liver was a delicacy. Like
I'm not eating mashed duck liver.
Well, I don't think it's a legal thing anymore. I think a bunch of people tried to get it banned because the way you make that is by forcing a duck to get 4 or 5 times its natural size in a horrific, if you know what veal is, from what I have heard about getting I don't remember what it's called, but it's the duck liver, the way to get it to the proper taste, texture, consistency.
Oh God.
It is worse than making veal. Because
Okay.
at least it's quick at least the baby cow only lives for a couple of months. The goose goes through several years of its life through that brutal treatment before.
And that's a completely haram. We don't believe in treating animals cruelly. You know, just when I think the world makes sense, I find out it does not. But then
If you
again,
thought humanity made sense, you failed to realize that we are not God's magnum opus. We are his fucking fanfic page.
Oh, see, I disagree.
No!
I believe that we absolutely do make sense in the sense that we are only convinced that we're civilized. We're the same brutal apes we always have been.
Oh yeah, exactly.
so
See,
there
no,
is
I'm
some really
talking
good.
specifically from like Rourke's Drift is proof that we live in a bad fanfic. God wanted the Brits to win so badly, he defied the laws of reality to let the Brits win that.
Yeah, but
fight.
there's good fanfic. My fanfic's good. And it's Kai. It's Kai. Oh, you're
Key.
just mad because you keep calling him Key.
His name's Key.
All right. Hey, how would you pronounce K?
Is there a lock?
There isn't. I don't know where he
What?
got Key from. It's always been Kai.
Like,
All right.
so before, like, she would like say it, like, she never said the name. I mean, like, she would send me stuff to like read, and I would read it, and I always read it as Key, and then she said it on stream as Kai, and I'm like, I guess I've been reading it wrong, but so it's Key.
It's Kai. Okay,
Key.
it's spelled Khiy. How would you
Look,
pronounce?
okay, let's agree to meet in the middle and say you're wrong. Samuel.
I mean, I would go with the hard phlegmy H too. You know, Key.
They don't. Corpus don't have. They don't have Kai. It's Kai. It's Kai. His name is Kai dash just Kai.
Look, how about this? I'll flip a coin. Heads I'm right, tails you're wrong. Okay, let's do this.
No.
I don't think that's how that works, buddy.
Whose character? Who created Kai? Me or you? If you want to create a Corpus character, change the spelling, and I will toss him in, and we will call him Key.
I'm not playing Warframe.
No, well, I said if you want me to create a character on a ship.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Like hell, I'm good being a beta for your
Yeah, but you clearly want a character named Key, but his name.
No, I don't. I don't.
name-
I just like messing with you about your existing characters.
Oh, well,
It's like the
still-
super chat thing earlier, which I was really just doing.
Everyone does that, and it's like, look, and the funny thing is, I never all of a sudden in a row. It's like,
Omega mentioned it. Foie gras. I'm not French. I can't pronounce.
foie gras.
Foie gras. There. Oh, it's only banned in New York and California. Okay.
Well, that tracks.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, if it's the specific method that I heard of, like pumping a goose full of just like horrific amounts of diabetes to get it big enough to where they could like take the liver out and turn it into consistency, that's fucked.
Okay.
If there are ways to do it where you don't need to abuse the animal,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Here's what I don't get, and this goes right back to my people keep putting animal lives above their own fucking species. Right?
Yeah, like,
Well-
Is that New York and California will ban foie gras, which is admittedly horrific, but you know, in some places in California, for instance, you can have your baby can mysteriously die under mysterious circumstances up to 7 days after birth, and the coroner
Yeah.
can just choose not to do an inquest.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. I'm just saying you shouldn't inhumanly treat an animal.
yeah,
But-
like there's a difference between being a prick and being someone who enjoys meat.
No,
I mean,
well, no.
I love meat. I
Same.
am a if I could get away with being a carnivore, my biology dictates that I actually have to eat, you know, plant matter occasionally. But if I
Omnivore.
could get away with it, I would be strictly carnivorous because I loves me some meat. I like trying
Dude,
you know,
fried chicken
exotic
covers all
meats.
the bases.
It's funny too, because we were on a stream with Amira not too long ago on the Lioness channel, and she was talking about somebody brought up camels at one point, and you know, just from the Middle East. There are camels in the Middle East, and all
There
that.
might
And I
be.
think I might have been the only one in chat who has actually eaten camel.
I'm so disappointed to find this out.
It's not good, by the way. Don't do it.
I know.
That's probably why they
it's-
weren't livestock.
It's one
That's
of the
prob-
worst meats I've ever had in my life. They taste
That's
terrible.
probably why they were used for mounts and not livestock.
I mean, no, some people did eat them, but they
I
were
mean-
primarily used as mounts.
I mean,
Yeah, they
some
were.
people also eat snails, Cat.
I know. That's creepy.
Humans are weird.
Yeah, frog legs, on the other hand, are actually quite good.
I'm not.
Depends. I've never had them, but if it's someone from like the Bayou, I'd trust them infinitely more than a Frenchman.
Well, you should never trust a Frenchman.
There are if it's a pre-Napoleonic Frenchman, you can trust him.
No, well, they're all dead, and I stand by my statement.
Yes.
So you
Napoleon
can basically
ruined the French, just like
so bas-
America ruined Japan.
Well, Napoleon wasn't French either; he was Corsican.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in the same way that the bad German wasn't actually German; he was Austrian.
Yeah, that I knew.
We got like I've got a buddy who's from Austria. I love trolling him, and he totally agrees with this. The Austrians are behind both world wars.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
we use
now-
that as an example of Austrian supremacy, that they have so much influence they can bring the world.
No, but don't you understand? We have right now a senile old man who might be responsible for World War III. So
No, that'd be an overweight guy who looks like Winnie the Pooh.
You know
not
what?
gonna be the
I
reason.
think we should look into this. There may be an Austrian pulling the strings.
there must be an Austrian somewhere. You're
Actually,
right.
I do believe there is a German pulling the strings, and I've talked about him before on this channel. Darth Schwab.
Oh yes.
Isn't he the guy like the World Economic Forum
He is
guy?
Yes.
the head of the World Economic Forum.
Yes.
Many people answered to him. They were part of his Young Leaders program, like Justin Trudeau and Gavin Newsom and King Charles.
Oh God.
All of these guys.
Wait,
And
wasn't the last two times the Brits had a Charles bad news?
Oh God.
Probably. I don't know.
Hold on, I need to get a drink. Hold on.
I need a very, very, very strong drink, but then
As I said previously, I'm 19, so I don't have alcohol, but I do have milk.
milk's good for you.
I mean,
as long as it's not soy milk.
Yeah, I don't actually care what you drink, provided that if you're under 21, don't drink alcohol on freaking street.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with
not
that legal
like-
shit. I'm trying to volunteer at an animal shelter. I don't want that on my record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no smoking while live, no, none of that stuff. I know there's a lot of people who do drinking streams. I don't drink much, and I usually only do so with close friends and family, so I don't do it on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cats
it
not
would be-
allowed to drink.
Although sometimes I desperately wish I could. Oh God, there are times where I really wish I could.
Carrie, I don't know about that. I think that they're different things working towards the same purposes. I think it's like a temporary alliance kind of thing. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, who owns BlackRock? Who owns BlackRock and Vanguard? Because those are the real people with the power.
Oh, those are. That's just where they move the money.
Gotcha.
Off the top of my head, I'd have to pull it up. You know what? I don't actually feel like getting into that right now, so I'm not gonna. But
No, it's totally fine. It was. I don't even remember how we got talking about this. Probably a one-off joke I made.
oh no, it had to do with the not trusting the French over snails
And yeah,
Right? Yeah. Fuck the French.
or
All my homies
anything
fuck
else.
the French.
This is why I have problems with Quebec. I know it's
We're
Canada,
Canadian.
but they call themselves French.
Well, this is.
And in
I
fact,
mean,
they think they're so far above their fellow Canadians that they've actually passed laws where everybody has to write everything both in English and French just to make.
Oh
the
yeah, no,
law
my buddy, not my buddy,
Not
my
those people.
boy, Crowder, Stephen Crowder. He'll constantly talk about France. Like he lived in Quebec when he was like a kid. He was born in the U.S. Family moved to Quebec, came back to the U.S. They thought he was learning disabled because he didn't speak French. Like instead of putting him to see, okay, does he speak our language? They just put him in classes for people who were not all there because he didn't understand the language, which is just insane. Like, could you imagine doing that in the U.S.?
oh well, in the U.S., at one point I mentioned my family was from Egypt in 3rd grade, and for a day or two they tried to put me into ESL, and my father was like, "Why did you tell them your family's from Egypt? They now don't think you could speak in English." It's like, wait a minute, I've been in the school since kindergarten. How did you suddenly now think I don't know English?
Right.
But Viva Frey is no longer in Canada, right?
Who?
The YouTube channel Viva Frey.
Bo is a big fan of his. He sends me links to his stuff sometimes.
Yeah, he's in Florida.
That makes sense. I mean, a lot of people are getting out of Canada altogether. Lauren Chen relocated to like Tennessee or some shit.
Oh, I love Lauren's videos.
Yeah, I like some of her stuff. I am
Fry, you're right. Fry.
her and people like her and Elijah Schaefer lean really hard into the religious angle.
Yeah,
a lot of times,
that's fair.
and that's I chafe against that a little bit. But in terms of you know, a lot of their politics, I happen to agree with a lot of that stuff, and I like her personality quite a bit.
Yeah, that's totally
but,
fair. Like I'm more of a I'm not like Bible thumper crazy levels of religious, but I am more of a religious guy. That's probably why I like her content more than you might.
Whereas, I mean, look, I would love to sit down and talk with Sydney Watson one time because I unsubscribed after she went on about how she likes to shit on Muslims for the sake of shitting on Muslims. I was like, look, all I did was unsubscribe. I don't think anyone should be banned. I haven't called for her to be banned. I didn't report
Right?
her.
No, yeah, no.
No,
I
it's
got
just
you.
if I don't like what you're saying, then I'm just gonna unsubscribe. And personally, honestly, I don't think it's Islamophobic because then they went on about how if they say bad things about Muslims, they're called Islamophobic. I don't think you're Islamophobic. I just think if you like to shit on a particular group of people for the sake of shitting on that group of people, you're a shitty person. I don't shit on anybody for the sake of it.
to be fair, Kat, we did just spend like 10 minutes shitting on an entire country.
Well, look, okay. If the French,
But also, to be
count
fair,
as a-
France
if the
sucks.
French people count as a people, if
To
the
be
French
fair,
people
I
count
was
as a
joking. We
people,
were joking. I mean, we're not.
then
I don't.
Artorias should come back.
To be fair, I didn't shit on any French people.
No, but I did
Yeah, but no,
a
but
lot.
Yeah.
There was corn in it.
ew.
Fuck the French. To be fair, that is not a call of violence against the people of French origin. That is not a call of violence against Quebec. It is just me expressing my opinion that Napoleon ruined France.
Yeah,
No,
I agree, and that was just me expressing my opinion that the French, by and large, are really into shiza porn. I have nothing nice to say about that country.
How you know that, and you
Well,
shared
you know,
a few developments on how you
because
know
I just
that.
shat
so-
on them. I just spent 10 minutes shitting on them, and
I'm
they
not
love
talking
it.
about that.
I just makes it think it makes you. I think it just makes you a shitty.
I'm talking about the thing you said on Royal Rumble.
The thing is, the sad thing is, I would agree with that. I would probably agree with her on a lot of things, and I would really like to get along with her. I just don't want to deal with that. But I think that if we were to sit down and have a conversation, we would find out that we have a lot more in common than not. And that's my only thing. It's sad to me that we probably have a lot more in common.
Real quick, Mexicans, in this specific case, it makes me a national supremacist because I believe that Americans are better than the French.
Yes.
Same.
That's more of an it's less. It's a nationality, not a race.
Yeah. I don't believe that I'm better than the French just because I'm genetically superior due to a ethnic group. I believe I'm better than the French because this country has had fewer fuck ups than them. Remembers Biden's in office. Okay, we're getting to about on even. I would argue.
I just look, I don't. Our country ain't perfect. No country is.
Yeah.
And no country ever will be. That's something that a lot of the how do I put this nicely? The leftists tend to think when they're talking about building their perfect utopias where everybody's happy and everybody gets along. And I've said this on other streams. They never ever take into account the human equation.
Yeah, you'd get one generation of people who are actually down with the idea, and then maybe a second one that's a little bit shittier. By the third generation,
well, no, not even that.
Everything's going to shit.
Not even that, man. There will always be some piece of shit who seeks to rise to the top to exploit it and put themselves at the top and to gain everything and continue to keep everybody at the bottom. There will always be someone at the bottom who is dissatisfied with their lot in life and fights against it. There's no such thing as utopia. It cannot exist.
No, it cannot.
Not with human beings.
Not within a society that's got scarcity. Now, if you get to like Star Trek where they can just 3D print literally everything,
even
then
that,
we
man,
can start
I think
talking
that's
about utopia.
Again, that takes out the human equation.
Right.
I like Star Trek. I think it's an ideal thing that we can aspire to, but I don't believe that as human beings we will ever reach it.
The thing is also life is imperfect. The world is imperfect. Eventually, until we develop perfect immortality, perfect health, unending supply, it won't happen.
Post-scarcity society.
Yeah. So I'll say this: I'm more of a. If I'm an American, I was born and raised in this country. My father is an immigrant, but he's been in this country for decades, and he's an American citizen, and he's proud to be an American citizen. I believe that Americans should be treated first. So my tax dollars should not go to another country; they should go to here first, because it's my money. I worked. We should prioritize first and foremost us. If we have any extra left over, we can share with others. This whole idea that America is hard, and the whole idea that America is naturally horrible, and no other country do you have more opportunity than America. No other country, and I realized this during the whole COOF thing, where you have all these countries saying you have to do this, you have no choice. Whereas in America, it was like, wait, the Supreme Court ruled against forcing people to take the jab. The fact that America was the only one where they could actually go through the legal system and prevent that from happening. What other country did we see that happen in? Where the Daily Wire said, no, you can't do that, and sued the government. Well, not filed a lawsuit against the government and said you can't do that. And I mean, yeah, the fact that we were lucky and 6 out of were right-leaning, but you were hearing about
another reason why you didn't have a situation like in Australia where they were sending people to camps that concentrated them into an area. We got more guns in this country than we got people. Yeah! Right, cowboy!
A massive margin.
Yes.
By a massive margin. But, I will say this again. We ain't perfect. But, and Kat, you're right. We should be keeping our dollars within our borders.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'm an isolationist. I think we need to build a wall around Washington, D.C. and let them rot. And then we need to build another wall around the borders of the lower 48 and fuck everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely the kind of person who reads something like Heinlein Starship Troopers and goes, that's what we need. We need to get humanity to a stage where we can push and have challenges out in the stars.
Yeah, well, the
only way we're going to do that is we can fix our shit at home.
Yeah, and that book, to a degree, was an indictment of fascism.
Clarify, I'm forgetting the definition of indictment.
Accusation. It was an examination and an accusation and a breakdown of fascism in a negative light. It was satire. It was
the book or the movie.
Maybe I'm thinking of the movie. I don't know. It's been a minute.
The movie was meant to satirize fascism. The first one did it badly. The second one did it better. The third one, let's not talk about it. The book was, to my understanding, I have not read a letter from a Heinlein or seen a video of Heinlein talking about it. I will, but from my understanding is Heinlein tried to present a moral society. He tried to present it's a society about personal responsibility, about taking charge of your own life. And if everyone does that, or if at least 60% of humanity does that, then humanity will thrive because the majority of people are working towards it. And a lot of the governmental structures you see, you need to be a citizen to vote. And the only way to get to be citizenship is service to the society. Even if you're not intelligent enough to weigh in on the decisions, you have at least put skin in the game so that your decision is earned. You're not some person who just happens to live in the Federation getting a vote, even if fuck all.
Sure, it's the same kind of idea that the way the vote used to work in this country towards the early days was that you had to be a property owner, you had to have a stake in your community, so that way they knew you weren't just coming from some other community and throwing in a vote where it wouldn't affect you, and you were just fucking with someone else's shit. That was the whole point of that. And now everybody gets a vote, and I don't think everybody should. I think that pure democracy is an evil.
But I think we also had, I think one of the things I'm noticing, and to me, one of the things that really shows me just how downgrading we are is the way people dress, because it shows me that people no longer have standards, morality. I mean, just look at the way I think everyone is always bringing up libs of TikToks and their videos of what the teachers are saying. Right. And I agree. What a lot of those teachers are saying is horrific. But also look at the way and that alone is enough to be called out. But I also look at what they're wearing.
Yeah.
They don't look professional. It's what happened to, there's no law that you shouldn't be having a nose ring in your ear that looks like nose ring in your nose. Those rings that look like something you put on a goddamn cow. But I'm sorry, you shouldn't be teaching kids looking like you're a kid. The tattoos all over their faces, the blue hair, the hoodie, and the studs in your face that make you look like you're a freaking emo teenager. I get it. You want to do it. You want freedom. I get it. But at the same time, there used to be. But used to be standards. There used to be, you go like the woman with the in Canada, Mr. Boob Tit Lady. Dude, that's highly inappropriate. Don't tell me that's legal. You're telling me I can strap on a fake dick to the front of my pants and be like, that's my sexual identity, and walk around work with it swinging left and right? I mean, no, we had to. There was like, I've noticed it in my own job where our uniform requirements have decreased. Where it used to be, you had to wear neat, clean, a certain color of pants. You had to wear black shoes, black sneakers. Now it's, you got people with the hot pink and the whatever. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't look professional.
Yeah, I agree. Like you shouldn't be expected to walk around like you're walking into a job interview. But at the same time, there are a lot of people at my school who like walk around in like there are a lot of women who are walking around in shirts that are like here and tight, and then pants that could easily pass as a dude's underwear. And then you got guys walking around in a lot of the guys are actually a lot more not conservative, but like I haven't really seen anything that's too offensive from a lot of guys. But I'll also see people walking around with like weed symbols on their shirts and stuff like that, or like people will just be walking around smoking with their vape pens. And I mean, yeah, you're not at your job, you're at college, but you're still technically at school. You should have a level of professionalism when you're walking around.
So
at least in my personal opinion.
What level would you be comfortable with? Like, you're talking full on blazer and tie, or
no, like I like kind of what I'm wearing. Like maybe not like this kind of like not like coffee or dye, but some like I'm not like saying suit and slacks. Like t-shirts fine. Just
I'm not disagreeing with you. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna nitpick, I think the aesthetic of the 50s was probably best. Everybody dressed their best every day.
No, well, I mean, I'm
not even going on the level that Chad was going with college. I'm just saying, when you walk into your job, I mean, I remember when I first applied to my present job, you couldn't have any visible tattoos. Now everyone's got visible tattoos. It's like they were saying, like if you have visible tattoos, you have to wear long sleeves to cover.
Now they've got tattoos on their faces.
Yes, it's like there's no level of professionalism. You don't look. And I get it. It's not meant to be a law. I'm not saying it's one sign of the fact that people don't have any shame, self-respect, dignity, where you dress like a emo teenager and you're the teacher. When you can't tell the teacher from the students, you're not their friend.
You know what my favorite is when you get a teacher teaching high school or whatever, and they're talking about all the evils of modern society and all that stuff, because they do that now. And they're sitting there wearing a Che shirt, Che Guevara, like he's some kind of fucking hero to look up to, because he was an icon of the communist movement, but he also murdered many people.
Yes.
And he really hated gays. Hated them so much he had an entire wall of his office removed so he could watch them be executed.
That reminds me of I'm pointing at Cat. Sorry. That reminds me of I don't know if either of you watch Freedom Tunes, but there was a video like a while back, like a couple of years ago. He made a video it was one of the debunkers videos where it was debunking the idea that the right has gotten way more extreme than the left. And the point that was brought up was, would you go back and legitimately say that like Green New Deal wasn't Teddy Roosevelt, it was Jail for Kids. It was JFK.
It was Franklin
Jail for
Delano.
Kids, JFK. That's how I remember it. I'm pretty sure.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
It was Franklin Delano.
No, FDR, not JFK. What the hell is wrong with me? Public education failed me. Go back to him. He was probably one of the most people point to him as like, see, socialism works. If I'm remembering the New Deal correctly, tell me he would be all right with like half of the shit that's being pushed by the modern Democratic Party.
I think he would be, actually. I
Really?
think that Obama's entire career is patterned after FDR's.
Yeah, well, I'm just tired of working my ass off.
I think that FDR was a socialist, and I think that he was absolutely.
I don't just mean economically. I
don't mean just economically either. He was aiming for dictatorship.
No. Like I mean, would FDR? And I don't know the guy. I might be completely missballing here, but would FDR approve gay marriage? Would FDR be fine with like transitioning children? That type of stuff.
That reminds me of the freedom
Oh, that
children where
no, not at all.
No, I'm saying as like the broad board checklist of things. I'm not just saying economically. Yeah, he would probably be down with a lot more of the shit that Obama and some other people want to do. I'm also saying socially.
Yeah,
I'm referring more socially than economically.
Shadow, listen, I think that it depends on, because I don't believe that these agendas that you're talking about that are rolling along with the modern socialist movements and all that stuff, your trans movement, your all that stuff. I don't think that is those are a means to an end. They're not the end goal.
Yeah.
The end goal is total subversion and submission.
Yeah, I know.
So these are just tools to break down what we have. And I think in that regard, he'd be absolutely fine with it. I think he'd be disgusted with it, but I think he would be fine with it, same way Stalin would be.
I'm not meaning in that. I mean like agreeing with that type of stuff. Like the point that was being brought up in that video was that there was a level of people will argue like there was a significant shift into an more extremist viewpoint based on like social. I mean more socially. I'm making a bad case for myself, but you get what I mean, right?
Hopefully. Yeah, I think I do.
Sorry.
I don't know if I would call Wilson a fascist. He was certainly a mobster.
Sorry, Carrie.
Him and Calvin Coolidge both were just giant pieces of shit.
Well, I just find it terrifying, the fact that you can take something that is literally fact, that you can see it right in front of you. Like, men are stronger than women, and yet you can manage to convince people. I think it was slowly. First, it was the masks and all the coof stuff, and people were believing, even though you can't see it. But it wasn't something that you could blatantly, as obviously, prove wrong or right. Most people kind of pretty much, in my opinion, proved that the masks really, especially when you had people smoking through them, but whatever. In a way, that's not as 100% clear as men are stronger than women, and yet you have managed to convince. So it's showing me that people are becoming more and more NPC and pathetic, and it's kind of like worrying, because it's telling me that the majority of, at least a large portion of the population, are becoming more and more mindless automatons and not thinking for themselves and going, that makes absolutely no sense. But then I tend to take the way of thinking of, if what you're doing would horrify, again, the corpus, you're definitely doing something wrong. When the profit-driven, profit-worshipping merchant cult looks at what you're doing in horror, you're doing something wrong.
Hey, Bernie.
Just saying. I mean... I don't know.
See, Catholic, on the corpus thing, they'd look on it in horror until DE decides to change the lore to make them look on it and cheer.
Yeah, but how are you going to turn the corpus, especially the low-rank corpus, into that? Really? You really think...
Are we talking rationally, or are we talking from the perspective of someone who doesn't understand reality? That came off more insulting than I intended. I apologize to.
No, it didn't come off as insulting. It's just like
it feels like it was more insulting than I intended. So I'm going to apologize anyway.
No, you don't need. It's just, unless they want to do like everybody else and completely neglect their lore and just go in the I mean, I'm sure it makes absolute sense for the profit worshipping merchant cult to be like, oh, you want to just have ridiculous surgery and alter yourself? Sure, profit doesn't matter. We're just.
It's a new way to get them in debt.
Yeah, but again,
it's like student loans. It's a new way to get them in debt. I don't
know. The thing is, I don't feel like that their enslaved employees are the ones they do this to. I think it's the people outside, because you never see.
Exactly. They use it as a method to lure people in, and then you're part of the corpus.
No, what I mean is the Polaris
cradle.
Did you just say enslaved employees?
They are wage slaves. The corpus are wage slaves. They are they basically. All right.
It's like your parents make a deal and they're in debt and you inherit their debt, and then you're never able to work out that debt and you keep that debt going.
Oh, so that's indentured servitude.
So basically the corpus are born into the corpus, raised to worship hard work and labor, and are basically raised to serve the corporation from basically childhood.
Never mind. I thought there was a debt thing involved.
No, that I think the debt thing is part of the ones outside of the corpus because you never see the Solaris in the corpus. The Solaris are indebted to the corpus, but they aren't corpus. You don't see them. I mean, I don't know fully, but like Viso, I don't think he's indebted to. I mean, he's indebted to the corpus based on his job to his work as an employee. If he does anything to indebt himself that will affect his job as an employee, he's probably out because he probably has to pay off like his food, his his equipment debt, his training debt, that kind of thing.
So the
But
corpus is like an entire culture of
work worshipping, profit worshipping ways.
Take Amazon, give them FTL capability.
Shadow. You've played you've played Mass Effect. This sounds more and more like the Volus.
I'm not too familiar on the Volus lore, but from what I do know of them, kind of.
It's
yeah, I mean,
basically
they also
an
do
entire
this basically.
yeah, it's an entire planet of merchant class.
Yeah, like not merchant class because they still do have those like still do have like the hard lit. They still got like the mechanics. They still got, but it is definitely it is. I would argue a allegory of capitalism.
It's meant to be a satire.
Like what China had during the Reformation period.
It's meant to be a satire on modern day. Like, imagine if Jeff Bezos were to instead start going on about profit, and imagine if the children of his employees are raised in schools created by Amazon to serve Amazon, and you're raised to worship hard work.
Telling me they're not?
Wait, no, Samuel. You know that episode of South Park where like they have like the fulfillment center. Imagine if Randy didn't have the integrity and they figured out FTL. That is the corpus.
Right.
Yeah. So they have so their children are raised, and the thing is not only that, they are raised to worship and value hard work and labor. So to them, striving to work hard and labor is part of their religion. They worship it. So it's like you overwork yourself, and it's something you take pride in, and you worship, and you do harder to do. And
yeah, that seems a little nuts.
So but they're raised like this but on top of that, they are basically 90% of the market. So all of the products in the system is provided by them. They provide education. So a lot of people, I'm sure, get recruited into the corpus because they provide education. They have the most advanced technology. They provide basically a career for you. So instead of living in some small village on Earth in a, like the Ostrons, who are fishing, basically a poor fishing community, you can join the corpus and get educated to become an engineer and go into space and spend the rest of your life worshipping profit and serving the corpus greater good. But at least you have a cause.
Gotta read that fine print.
Who reads the fine print?
Well, those who deal with the devil never do.
He's.
Oh, so you do, Samuel, because you're in government, right?
Well, local, but yes.
Local, state, federal,
who reads the fine print?
Planetary. It's all the same. It's all like. Yeah,
well, that's actually very true. If you look at a local government, pick one, anyone, and you will find a microcosm of what's happening in Washington. That's why it's important. If you want to get involved, if you want to actually change things, do it locally, because everything branches out from there.
Yeah.
Where do you think all those asshats in Washington got started?
Yeah.
Makes me really, really want to like make a D&D homebrew for the Warlock class. That's just you work for a government. You don't get magic powers or anything. You just have money.
That sounds like it'd probably be a better fit for Shadowrun.
Maybe it's like you walk into like a fight with like a bunch of CR10 monsters. You walk in by yourself because the rest of the party's doing a long rest. Yeah, sure. I'm not exactly the person meant to kill you all, but see, here's the thing. I got money, and proceeds to bribe the CR10s into killing each other.
Full disclosure here, like some of the guys in chat, I am not a tabletop guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he's dragged me into it, and now I'm traumatized by tabletop because my character was in a bucket.
If Chow was with us today, he'd be talking your ear off about it. He loves tabletop gaming. Has been doing it for decades and decades.
So, as I kind of like flashed, I do have some minis. Like this is my Carnifex I've handed up from Warhammer. Absolutely love this bastard.
I got into Warhammer briefly in the late aughts. And I only did it because my roommate at the time was obsessed with the game, and he was also a bit of a ladies' man, and I was running into a bit of a dry spell. And so I said, "All right, dude, I will give Warhammer a shot if you get me laid." That's how I got into it.
Let me guess, Slanesh Army.
No, chaos, just straight chaos.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the powers you're selling your soul to Warhammer for an opportunity at getting laid. That sounds like making a deal with Slanesh.
Well, I was making a deal with an evil roommate, so close enough. An evil horror roommate. but yeah, and guess who held up their end of the bargain?
You.
This guy right here.
You didn't get laid?
Oh, I did, but I had to do it without his help. Which is how you should, by the way, kids. That's how you should do it anyway. If you're gonna go out and do it, get out there. Don't use the apps. Don't do any of that shit. Go out and fucking meet somebody. Talk to people in the real goddamn
Yeah, but
world.
nobody's doing that. That's the problem. Me and a colleague of mine were actually talking about it. It's like the problem is everyone stays at home. Everyone gets their stuff delivered to them. It's like, get out, go out to a store.
Yeah,
and do stuff.
I did enjoy the painting, but honestly, the miniature stuff was that is a very expensive hobby. So I never really got too much into Warhammer. Plus, I was really bad at the actual game.
At least you're better than me. I have a soft side for, and I hate to admit this, but I'm going to admit it because it's in the video game. Okay, I played the video game, and so I have a soft side for the Ultramarines. I'm sorry. I know, but I have a soft side for.
Oh, see, in that cat, that's where we also are disconnecting just a little bit. Is I wasn't playing 40K. I was playing fantasy.
Oh,
yeah. I'm in a mood where I'm loving fantasy more, mostly because I'm playing Total War Warhammer 3. I'm loving the lore. Like, wait, one. Let me grab it.
Run, Forrest. Run.
This beautiful bastard right here, Malice Darkblade, one of my favorite characters in fiction now. Warhammer Fantasy. Love him more than any Warhammer 40K content I've consumed. I've been reading War of the Beast, which is supposedly like creme de la creme 40K content. And it's like, okay, it's a good story. This is better.
I'm not into the fan. I like the 40K.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah,
I'm
sorry. I keep talking over you, Kat. You want to try one more time?
Oh, no, I was just going to say I like the 40K.
Over you, Kat. You want to try one more time? I'm going to talk over you. See, she caught it.
Of course I caught it. I'm more than just a pretty face,
Oh, I know. I just wanted to see how long it would take.
Yeah, well, I actually have a video. I might have a video game going right next to me. I don't know. I might. I didn't say anything.
Do you hear that, folks? She's only half paying attention.
No, I didn't say anything. Did I say anything?
Kat, you messaged me 15 minutes before this started. Hey, Shadow, come on, join the stream. Yes. And I'm being mocked by Boa in the chat for not having good lighting.
Yeah, well, I was live streaming most of the day.
So you could have given me like a 30 minutes of heads up, so I could have at least like positioned this lamp in a spot that gave me like something.
It was last
I gotta. That's not Kat's fault. It's I do things by the seat of my pants. It's always kind of a fly by night thing here. So
gotcha.
Blame me.
Gotcha.
See, not
Kat,
my fault.
why didn't you do your freaking job?
What job? I'm not at work today. It's Saturday. This is not my job today. All right. And yes, okay. And I have promoted the Corpus as the Corpus marketing director. So I'm doing my job. I have two. I have my job in retail, and then I have my Corpus marketing.
Yeah, no. And Samuel, I'm only like half laughing. It's just I'm like, crap. This lighting is gonna be shit. I hope no one notices. And I saw Boa in the chat like, hey, does Shadow not like being seen? His lighting is shit. And I'm like, fuck.
When Lawrence Knight is on and on the occasion that he decides he's going to turn his camera on instead of using his avatar, it's very hard to see him because not only is his lighting darker than yours, but he's got these the headphones have lights on either side of his head, and he's black.
Oh god!
So it's very difficult to see.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to make it even worse, I could turn my room's overhead light on. That might blind people, or it might make it easier to see me. We got a crab rave.
See, I got cool lights.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull the fucking crab rave. No, that would get copyright.
Yeah,
crab rave would get copyrighted instantly.
I mean, It is what it is. I don't know. I don't care that much. This is just something we do for fun.
Yeah,
And
Um,
that's
even
good.
So, real quick, Bo, now that's how are you approaching women? Is how I would what I would ask about that because I don't have those issues generally when I approach women. You know, I'm usually upfront with them, but I'm never like pushy about it, and I'm never like in their personal space or anything like that. And and I'm not like the hottest guy in the world. I'm all right, but
Yeah.
I'm not super hot. I don't have a ton of money. Hell, I've got kids of my own. That's a turnoff for a lot of girls these days. So
That's a turn off for
but
a
I
lot of
do
people.
okay, and I have yet to be slapped with a sexual assault claim. Although now that I said that out loud, it'll probably happen tonight.
oh god.
Uh, Kat, what's your experience with women?
Limited.
Um we're not going to go into that message I sent you back because I don't want you and I to get into the
Oh, right.
wrong.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
just in
And
case.
then me, like 20 pounds of self-loathing and a 5-pound sack. Never really like pushed on it. Never felt like I would have any success. So yeah.
My most experience with women.
I mean,
that can be taken a lot of different ways, man.
it's not wrong.
My experience with women is I look in the mirror. Hi, me. Hi, woman.
Oh, okay, you're a narcissist. Gotcha.
Yeah. You said my experience with women.
Oh, that reminds me of that one Cyanide and Happiness short where it's the guy's like on a date with his mirror. That's Cat.
Hey, I don't even. I'm actually trying to finally write women characters. I just.
Yeah.
I'm never. I don't know. Because I don't know.
Have you seen that meme about women lawyers being written?
No, I haven't
no,
seen
but
that.
I
Like,
know
when
enough
they're
about women lawyers because of She-Hulk.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is about She-Hulk. This is a reference to that.
Gotcha. I haven't seen it.
Let me see
You
if I can
don't want to
find it.
see it. You don't
No,
want
No,
to see it.
I
it's
know some good
funny and
lawyer
it's not
jokes.
it's not that bad.
I know some
Because
good lawyer
it's
jokes.
short.
Like, why do you bury lawyers 6 feet under? Because deep down, they're a good person. I love
Oh,
Better Call Saul, man. That
That
like
is a good
segment
one.
where they're doing the lawyer jokes,
that's
really
good.
good.
There was an old man in a restaurant the other day stopped me and told me a great joke. And I'm going to tell it here again. I told it the other day, so you guys probably have already heard this, but
I probably haven't.
well, maybe you didn't. What's the difference between a school bus and a porcupine?
No
I
clue.
like where this is going.
With a porcupine, all the little pricks are on the outside.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was good.
It's also easier
Amazing.
to clean up a porcupine than it is a bus. Not that I know from personal experience, FBI.
Yeah. Moving on.
Oh god. 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of an ocean. A good start. What do you call 20,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean? A good start.
Good start.
That joke has been modified for all kinds of things, and
Yeah.
it's nearly always super racist. I am not going to tell those versions, but I have heard them my whole life.
Figure them out. Hey, look, as long as you toss She-Hulk to the bottom of the ocean.
What do you call 20,000 corpses at the bottom of the ocean? Wasted meat.
See, I told you he eats corpus.
No, that is slander.
You said you eat corpus.
I said I'm a xenophage. I never claimed to consume corpus specifically.
Yes, you did.
I can't find the damn thing, but I will describe it to you. On the one side, it said female lawyers written by men, and it showed a picture of the blonde lady from Better Call Saul.
Kim Wexler?
Yeah. And then on the other side, it said female lawyers written by women, and it showed a picture of She-Hulk twerking.
Kim is such a really well-written character. Like I look at that and a lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe like Better Call Saul got like feminist. It like ruined the show because they had her doing better than Jimmy. No, like it's what like she's a good, well-written character that's just better at being a straight and narrow lawyer. Jimmy is an amazing character. Who's
I'll be honest,
Jimmy's
I have not watched the show because I'm not really good with spin-offs a lot of times.
It's good. It
You know,
is.
I did like Breaking Bad, and I liked him in that, but it's
Okay.
also a prequel, is it not?
It is. It's good.
It's another issue.
It's genuinely give the first season a try, and if it's not good, I will.
You will say you will change it to Kai. You will stop
I
calling
will
Kai
drop
Key.
this off. I will go up to the very top of my apartment, which is 3
No,
stories.
no,
I'm not gonna
no.
make you break your shit, dude.
No,
That's-
no, because I want
No,
you to
no,
call
no.
him.
Tartaros is fine with it. He's totally fine with it.
No. You
Ignore
will
him. He's dancing. He's fine with it.
No. You will start calling Kai Kai.
No,
Exactly
I'm
right.
not. I'm not agreeing to that.
Start calling him Kai. His name is Kai. He's
Yeah.
my character. I made Kai.
Hours.
Yeah.
Hashtag communism.
I may check it out at some point. I don't know. I have been watching a lot of older stuff lately because I can't stand pretty much anything made after 2018, really.
Have you seen Primal?
I did not,
Good,
but I don't watch a lot of animation anymore either.
Okay, that's fair. I will say that if you're willing to give it a try, the last 3 episodes of the second season have been pushed for time, or maybe something might have happened in like it feels like it should have had one other episode to really like clench the final season to make it end on like a triumphant roar. But it's still better than a lot of shit that's being dribbled out by Hollywood. If you got nothing else to watch, check out Primal on HBO Max. It's pretty good.
Usually, if I can't figure out something to watch, I just go by. There's one of 2 movies that is always I have no problem watching over and over and over again. Both of them star Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Silver Streak and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. 2 of the greatest comedies ever made, in my opinion. Both of them were directed by Arthur Hiller a decade apart. Decade and a half, I think.
Park.
And in Silver Streak, Gene Wilder does blackface.
Hey, I want to watch. What is it? I want to rewatch Jurassic. I want to watch Jurassic Park. I love The Martian.
For me, favorite movie right now, and this is because this is totally going to be like, you're only doing it because it's new. Like, it's not. The Northman is objectively the best movie I've ever seen.
I have heard that it's pretty good, but
Wow. It is not a movie. It is a piece of art. Like that is not hyperbole. That is. So I'm a film student. I was a film student. But I've taken classes that have ruined a lot of content for me. Even with that lens, when I watched The Northman, it is something beautiful to watch. I highly recommend it. It's slow. It's not action. It's got action, but it's more of a thriller than it is like an action story. So it's worth the watch. It's worth watching it.
Oh my god!
This is, by the way, this is what I was referring to real quick. In terms of like why this is so funny.
I love the title.
It gets better.
Hold on, let's see it.
For some context, in this movie, Gene Wilder plays a deaf man and Richard Pryor plays a blind man.
Okay.
I love that movie.
That's such a good scene. I love that would not fly in modern day, but that is beautiful.
Hilarious. Yes,
It's like I've never seen Boondocks. I got a ton of Boondocks clips in my recommended at some point. Uncle Ruckus, I think his name is, when he got like that DNA test, he is either 100% African American or he's 104% African American. It wasn't conclusive, and I love that. But he's very anti black. He's like he hates black people, but he's like the blackest man in the world.
Wait,
There was is this are you talking about the Dave Chappelle skit?
No, it's the Boondocks. It's like some animated show.
Oh, right. Yeah, because there was a Dave Chappelle skit years ago where he was a member of the KKK because he hated black people and he was blind
Yeah, they raised
But
him
he
as like
knew
a
he
white
was
kid,
black.
and he joined the KKK,
Yeah,
wrote a
but
novel about it,
he
and
knew he was
never
black,
realized it.
but he didn't. He still hated black people, and in fact, he married a white woman, but he hated her because she was. I'm not going to use the word here, but it's a word that Dave Chappelle was free to say. Lover.
Wait, no, this person's right. The actress who played Kai Wynn just died.
Yeah, I did hear about that actually. She also was Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and among a great many other things. She's had a pretty extensive career.
Oh, I hated Kai Wynn. Kai Wynn used to drive me up. I could not stand Kai Wynn. I
She
love
did.
Kai Opaka.
She did. Yeah, me too. She
I
did.
don't recognize the name.
They're from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Oh, I know. Wait, no, I did watch Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, Kai Wynn was the evil Bajoran religious leader.
Yeah. Whereas Kai Opaka.
Oh, that was some early. That was like some season 1 stuff then.
No,
Yeah.
Kai Opaka was season 1. Kai Wynn was later on. So
Oh.
Kai Opaka,
I don't remember them.
Yeah, she was around all the way through the end of through the finale too, wasn't she, or close to?
I
Because
don't know.
she got
All
it
I know
on
is
with,
the
like, a
Jem'Hadar
jock
were
thing.
the best thing in Star Trek.
so they make absolutely no sense. I did not realize that. I had forgotten that they don't eat. There is no way you could physiologically survive on just the white. Your
Kat,
body
it's pseudoscience.
No.
It's like they're like the orcs from Warhammer 40K. Like, I don't believe the orcs are made with pseudoscience. They don't actually need to eat. They just like eating. They don't actually need sleep. They just like sleep. With the Jem'Hadar, they could have been made where they didn't need all that stuff. It's just like they were designed to be perfectly able to function without food, water, all of that. The white is the white is imagine if your body couldn't naturally produce insulin.
Your
That
body
is effectively what the
needs
white is.
stuff brought in to function. You
Yes.
need
This is Star Trek. It's pseudoscience.
that isn't even pseudoscience. That is magic.
You get to a certain point, technology is magic.
All right, real quick.
Yeah,
I gotta,
but like
Yeah,
that's why
sorry, Samuel.
I gotta
Sorry,
address some of these comments here real quick. First of all, Carrie, one of them is not Blazing Saddles because Blazing Saddles is A, not my favorite Mel Brooks movie, although I do love it. And B, I'm not much for Westerns. That's not my go-to. I do like the occasional Western, but I don't immediately think, hey, there's nothing on the watch. I'm gonna watch a Western. That's not generally how that goes. But I do like Blazing Saddles quite a bit. It's just not, my very favorite comedies. Then we got Boa. No, I have not seen Everyone Is Turning Into Rhinoceroses. I am intrigued though.
me too.
Just the title alone. That's yep. I can't remember the actress's name. It was Louise something. Louisa. Give me just a second. Louise Fletcher. Louise Fletcher is who passed away today. And she was a great actress, and she'd been in all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I could be an infidel. That's true.
1934 to 1920.
Ketracel White is what they called that. Ketracel White, it wasn't insulin though. It was a drug that they were genetically
I'm saying it was like insulin. Like, their body lacked the ability to produce a specific enzyme that allowed them to function, and Ketracel White was that enzyme. Like, they were supposed to function as organisms. They needed some organ that the founders did not took out of them or never included, so they could control them. Because sure, religion is a very good method of control.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, that's why
it's a good idea to also get your population hooked on something. In the case of the Jem'Hadar, it was Ketracel White. In the case of Americans, it's reality television. In the case of the Romans, it's gladiatorial pit fighting.
That explains why I'm so
reality television and ding dongs.
Yeah, that explains why I'm so
which is dead.
So stubborn and not obedient to the government, because I don't like reality television, and I'm not really a big fan of ding dongs either. So
never had a ding dong.
Ding dongs are like chocolatey Twinkies with more cream.
Yeah, like I've also never had a Twinkie.
Wow,
man, I don't know if I can be friends.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
You know what?
I have
I
a bit
know.
of a
I know
fridge.
that they're basically like styrofoam that will outlast like the nukes, and that
Yeah.
they're really
That's
not
a
good
myth,
for you.
actually. Twinkies have like horrible shelf lives. They won't last that long.
Yeah. Well, the point is that they're not good for you. They're not food. It's
Yeah.
garbage. But
That's probably why I wasn't allowed to eat them.
they taste so good.
Yeah.
So good. It's just it's magical almost.
I've got trail mix. That's good.
Yeah.
I have Red
okay.
Bull and
That's
cat
not-
treats. I have Red Bull and cat treats.
I've got,
First of all, Red Bull's straight up poison.
I've got coffee. Is that poison?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Coffee's poison.
She actually popped up during the live stream. It was actually pretty great.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got a big can of Mountain Dew in my hand right now too. I'm fully aware that that's awful for me too.
Yeah.
But I will say about Twinkies, and since you've never had one, you probably won't know this, is that for some reason, especially in the last like 10 years or so, every time you eat a Twinkie, they're delicious and they're awesome, and then you swallow it, and it leaves this kind of sweet aftertaste on the back of your tongue that for some reason after about 5 minutes turns metallic.
Oh, that's terrifying. I haven't had a Twinkie.
Yeah.
I think I figured out. The COVID vaccine wasn't the thing putting the chips in people. It was the Twinkies.
Yeah. Well,
I thought you were going somewhere completely different with that. Actually,
what, like dirty?
the whole Twinkie, like you said, like putting the Twinkie and then like feeling something on the back of your throat. I thought you were going somewhere completely different.
Oh God!
I'm not always a pervert, people.
Just
You're
like
not?
60% of the
No,
time.
it's a switch. I can turn it on and off, just like women. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And the
Yeah, I
Twinkies,
agree.
the Twinkies are definitely a big part of that. You guys seen Zombieland?
No,
Isn't
I
that
haven't.
there's a video game.
There may be. It's a movie, came out in like 2010, and it was pretty good for the time. It was during the whole everything's got to have zombies in it craze in Hollywood, and it was a comedy. It's got Jesse Eisenberg in it, who always plays Jesse Eisenberg, which is annoying. But in this case, it worked with his character. His character was just as neurotic as he was. Neurotic. And what the hell is his name? Woody Harrelson is also in it. Now, Woody Harrelson plays a badass, but the only thing that he wants out of life is he keeps saying this. He said, contrary to popular belief, like you said, Twinkies do have an expiration date. It's somewhere out there. It's the last package of Twinkies that anyone will ever eat. So he's on the search for the perfect Twinkie, and he can never get them. He always finds these Hostess trucks full of snowballs. Which are like the pink, fluffy ones.
Yeah, I know the snowballs. I've never had a snowball, but I've seen them.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, Twinkies are great. I love Twinkies. I don't have them very often. It's kind of like a treat once in a while. Same way that I treat root beer. I really like root beer, but I'm also in my 40s, so it's not like something that I have in hand all the time.
Yeah. I'm trying to one of the best ways to lose weight is just don't drink soda. Dr. Pepper is just too freaking addicting for me. I have managed to cut it down. Like I have managed to cut it down. Like if I go out and get a drink, I've managed to cut myself down to, unless I'm really weak or it's really hot outside, I can just do the 1 cup of Dr. Pepper. But it's not. It's hard. But if you do cut it, you lose weight quick. When I stopped drinking Dr. Pepper for like 2 months, I dropped from like 226 pounds to 213 pounds, which was amazing.
I'm gonna put a quick disclaimer on here, Kat. When Kohai Maskist here is saying not your father's root beer is the best root beer, I will agree, but you don't want to drink it because it is in fact alcohol.
Oh, okay.
It just tastes an awful lot like a root beer, but it's got a pretty good kick for a brew.
I'm trying to get her to come.
Alcohol?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's why
I
it's
think.
not your father's root beer, because it's not root beer really. It's booze.
Let's see if I can finally get this.
cat couldn't drink booze.
You didn't know that? Oh yeah, no. I just
Are you
don't.
Muslim?
I didn't know that either. Oh my God, you're right. Here we go. Here she comes.
Oh, and actually, this is a question I've had. This is a question I've had for a bit. Oh, it's a cat. So this actually is a question I've had for a while, and I've had this for the longest time, and I've just never asked it. So,
Okay.
in like saying D&D or saying a video game, is like, does the whole hurrah, like, would you be able to like have your character Latrox drink whiskey in D&D?
I did.
Like
What
that-
are you talking about? I played Bioshock, and I had a rule while I was playing Bioshock: no booze left behind.
So okay, so it's like, okay, that is a question. And then could you, like, if you were playing Minecraft, could you kill a pig and eat it?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
video game. It's not real. I also can play. I could also play female characters.
There are people
without hijab and in bikinis. Hey, Buster.
There are people out there. There are people out there who won't, like, for a life-changing, like for a life-saving surgery, won't accept blood from a donor because it violates their faith. So
yeah, but do
that
they
was
do it
something
in a
that's like
video game?
I knew the answer to, but I was also very curious, and I apologize.
No, I'm not offended. It's just it's not.
Oh,
real.
I'm not saying you're offended. I'm just saying it was a stupid
You
question.
don't need
that I
to
knew the answer
apologize.
Last.
You don't need to apologize. I'm just saying it's not real. It's a video game, and like I
Yes,
said,
I
I had a very,
I need to
I had a
apologize.
very, I had a
need to
very,
apologize for being a
very.
fucking
You
idiot.
know, but I mean, it's sort of like the Jehovah's Witnesses with the blood transfusion. It'd be like, okay, well, if you're playing a video game and there's a blood transfusion in the video game, that's not real. As I said, I had a philosophy. I don't know if you've ever played Bioshock.
No.
But in Bioshock, there
I need
is
to.
alcohol lying all over the place, and you can drink it, and it gives you Adam, but takes away from your health. Well, I had this firm philosophy of no booze left behind. We were not going to leave the booze behind, so I would drink all of the booze in the game.
Can I have 871?
Well,
Can
look
I
at me.
borrow your sister's genetics, please? I would love to do that.
No, well, look at me.
Wait, also, is she fairly active?
That's what I
'Cause,
was gonna say. Look at me. I look at myself during my live streams like I didn't realize just how thin I am. I drink like 3-4 cans of Red Bull a day, but
Yeah,
because I'm so
like-
ridiculously active.
Like, part of the reason why I'm as overweight as I am is I'm very, like most Americans, I have a very sedentary lifestyle. I have made certain adjustments like that right here. This is my method of transportation. I don't drive a car.
same.
I bike everywhere.
Same.
Whenever I'm in a loading screen for a video game, I do pull-ups. It's sitting on the cabinet. I do pull-ups. So there are little things, but I'm not like at the gym every day because I'm too freaking lazy to actually get myself there, and I really need to get there.
Whereas
so
my job feels like a gym.
My job's pretty physical, and I'm constantly moving, usually up and down stairwells. You know, and that's just because that's the nature of my job. And on top of that, I have always had an extremely high metabolism, like an unusually high metabolism. And so it's slowed down somewhat now that I'm getting older, but it's still faster than most. So I've got a little bit of a pudge in my belly where my after all my pec muscle mass like migrated south. But you know, that's what happens when you stop working out, kids. But I'm still pretty thin for the most part.
Same, yeah. I mean, I'm running. I once wore one of those Fitbit watches a couple of days, and it was on average 16 miles of walking a day.
Mhm.
That doesn't include my trip to and from work.
She wins. Unfortunately, she wins.
Yeah. So
Well, I mean,
well, she's like half my height too.
no, well, I mean, think about it. No, but the thing is, I'm 5'1".
Oh, what?
She's 5'1". That makes me
Yeah, I'm tiny.
18 inches taller than her.
I'm tiny.
Or no,
Why do you
not
think
18,
half
like
my
16
Corpus
inches taller,
characters are
but still.
ridiculously tall? Though Viso's 6'4" because the Moas are 5 foot, so
Yeah.
we calculated.
I'm
But why
I'm
do you think it's
6'5".
taller than Viso?
Yeah.
Damn it!
I'm closer to Samuel, but I'm in between. I'm like 5'10", 5'11". Like it's like 5'10.9", borderline 5'11".
We're
You know,
counting
5'11", that's a
inches now.
weird number. Let's just call me 7 foot.
Yeah, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
Though I think Tezzin is 6 foot. Tezzin, I'll put Tezzin at 6 foot, and Tiket, when he finally reaches his full height, would have been 6'6". I wanted to make him taller than Viso, on principle. His grandfather was tall.
You know,
No,
I don't know. I tower over almost everybody I meet, though. There are a few people I know who are taller than me, but I can count all of them on one hand.
I wish I was taller.
You know, and I know that in the world there are people who are much taller than I am, but I don't know them, so they don't count.
That's true.
I mean, if you get much taller than like 6'5", don't you start suffering some pretty bad medical conditions? Like the tallest man in the world, I think, was like 8.
Yeah, when you get taller, and
he
even
died at like mid-20s.
You're talking about Robert. What the hell was his last name? He's in the Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. There's a big wax sculpture of him at of actual size. He was closer to 11 feet when he died.
and
I
I
misremembered horribly then. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, now he had a kind of a
metaphor-
severe case of gigantism, and he never stopped growing.
Yeah.
Which is what caused his body to basically collapse under its own weight. You know,
Yeah.
because the bigger he get, and he did it so fast that his skeleton didn't really have time to adjust to the new growth,
Yeah.
and it put so much strain on his system that his heart failed.
But if you could like take that and slow, like I mean, yeah, there's a maximum capacity the human body could, but you take that, you slow it down, you could get Space Marines.
No, well,
Possibly.
We
no,
could
well,
get
no.
9 foot tall, 300 pounds, nothing but muscle, badasses fighting the fuck.
Wadlow. His name was.
Why would we need something like that to fight?
His name was Robert Wadlow.
No, well, no, because I also, in my doing research on pneumothorax, I didn't really read into it because the reason I was researching pneumothorax was because he had a sword impale his chest. But apparently, young tall teenage, thin men can, if they do something when they breathe, can actually get a pneumothorax.
Guy that is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was, I think, before his system started going out on him so much that he actually had to use a cane in each hand to walk.
Yeah, now imagine you figure out a way to make that stable. Bulk him up to like the point of the rock, get him in some body armor.
No, don't give them ideas.
Give him an oversized machine gun that shoots 75 caliber mass reactive rounds.
I agree. Look, I get it.
Drop them, give them to the Space Force so they drop from orbit. All I'm saying, why is my hand like? All I'm saying, it would be spectacular.
Yeah, only 8'11".
Only 8'11".
No,
That's
but
only 8'11". Jeez.
Yeah, that well to keep in mind, women typically are on the lower end of the height
like
range anyway.
5'5", if I remember correctly. That's still
so they came up to about his midsection, which would be about right. Because he was almost 9 feet tall. If they were at the 5 foot 5'3" range, somewhere in there, then he would be of at least 4 feet taller than they were.
That puts something into some great. So it's been like a couple hours. I'm surprised I haven't brought this up sooner. I'm working on a fantasy novel. In that novel, like orcs, gore, like you got these fucking huge things that are like orcs are 8 feet tall near universally in my setting. That is scary. There are things that are like several heads taller than orcs, and then Jotuns or giants are like twice the size of the things that are taller than orcs. That is scary. Now that I've had that sense of scale.
Well, here's the thing: is like the human frame is not designed for that kind of mass.
Humans aren't.
We just aren't. Even if you look at your larger pachyderms like your elephants and such, you look at the way that they're built. Their feet are basically like foot-thick sponges for shock absorption, and they're massive, right? Their whole frame is designed to carry their weight, and that's because not many, that's why they're the largest living animal that walks on land. The largest animals in the sea can obviously support more weight because the water the displacement of the water helps with the buoyancy. It helps keep them from, all the bad shit that happens on land. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason that the bigger they are, the more stability their lower parts have, like the spongy, massively wide feet of the elephants and whatnot, because anything less won't support the animal. Giraffes, for example, while they have very thin feet or very small feet and very thin legs and all that, they are also very thin all the way up.
Yeah.
They really don't have much more mass than a camel does. They're just stretched out.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's what happened. And it's simply not possible at this stage for humans under normal Earth gravity to develop in such a way. where they could do that. And if we could get to a point where in say like a lesser gravity where we could develop those kinds of physiques, that's one thing, but we'd never be able to come to Earth because gravity would still crush you to death.
Yeah, exactly. It's like The Expanse, and that's one of the things that I kind of like was sad, and that's most of the budget thing. But like the Belters and Martians are just humans. They would not look like humans. A Belter would be a tall, gangly, like.
They had a few in the pilot that fit that bill, but
they had a few, and like there was a few in the first seasons, and they also like they gave like an end. I think they gave like an in-show universe reason. There was like a drug, and they pointed it out with like Miller that like he didn't get enough of it, so he had a little bit of like the issues on his neck. But like they did try to cover their bases in lore as to why. Budget-wise, we don't have Belters, and we can't CGI them with the budget you're giving us.
Right, but even you know, like CGI probably would have been the cheaper way to go about it. But yeah, there just aren't enough actors and extras of that build.
Yeah, it would need to be someone like Stickbug looking, and deathly pale.
Who set me up with a ring?
I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe.
Boa, 2 questions. Where do you what part of the world? Western Hemisphere, Eastern Hemisphere, and how much would you be willing to charge me? I need money.
I think he lives in Manitoba.
Manitoba.
Manitoba. I am not familiar.
Canada.
Canada.
Oh, Canada?
Yeah.
Just order it on Amazon.
Actually, though, there's some things I follow a YouTube channel, I'll admit it, called Nerdy Crafter, which is why that reminds me. She said there's a lot of product in America that they can't get in certain parts of Canada because it doesn't have enough French on it, apparently, on the box.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the fucking Quebecois making things difficult on everybody. Because you have to, if you print something in one language, you have to print it in both. Because both French and English are the official languages of Canada, which is largely due to Quebecois influence, because they didn't feel like they should have to learn English.
Which is why she's like, there's stuff she wants to buy, but she can't buy it because she has a crafting channel. She's like, I can't buy it because she has a friend who has another YouTuber called Ace of Clay who will buy it and ship it to her and she pays him back.
This is in reference to the Robert Wadlow talk we were having earlier about the really tall guy. He was 22 years old when he died, which tells you something about the rate of growth.
That is, wow.
It's insanely fast.
Yeah, that's sad.
I mean, but that's why they have to do all those surgeries on the Space Marines. They do all that stuff on the Space Marines because they can't just.
Yeah, it's you start at like the age of like 12. At the start at the age of 12, and they start like pumping you full of hormones, giving you an organ, and then they do some training, and then once that hormone is done the work shifting your body, they go back in, change up your body, pump you full of hormones, let you grow. There are a lot of people who don't seem to understand the level of grind that goes into making a Space Marine.
Yeah,
like, it's even mentioned in the Dark Angels omnibus. They will, like, their Scouts Corps. Part of the reason they even have the Scout Corps is it is the aspirants that are at a stage where they are combat effective, but they aren't combat effective enough to be full Marines. Like, there are some, there are 2, I don't remember their names, but they're like 2 scouts under the command of Sergeant Naiman who haven't received their like full haven't received their full like organ, like their full cocktail of hormones and their full organ upload. That like the scouts need to slow down, and what ultimately kills them is the fact that those 2 guys are slowing them down, and it's a long and lengthy process. And these are guys who are like in their 20s, and a lot of people seem to think that like they get picked up at 13, shoved way up the butthole, like what happened with Morty, and they come out of Space Marines at the age of 15. That's not
it takes a very long time. No, I know that. That's one of the reasons why I also find the whole idea, which is why I personally, and this people don't like me to say it because I know in the game you could have female Spartans in Halo, but I personally don't even think there should be female Spartans. I understand for gameplay mechanic they want to include female characters, but no, if I look, women, compare my arms to yours.
Well, so the difference with the Spartan program, if I remember correctly. With the Spartan program, it was one major surgery, and it also wasn't like Halsey wasn't. Space Marines look for brute strength. Halsey wasn't looking for brute strength.
Look
She
what
was
they
looking for intelligence. She was looking for reflexes, and she was looking for luck.
But you still
And
need a lot of brute strength because that armor weighs 1,000 pounds.
so the armor. So the problem with if I remember correctly, the problem with the armor wasn't how heavy it was. The armor could more or less move itself like a robot. The hard part was humans, like normal humans, did not have the reaction time, nor they didn't have the cerebral capacity. And Samuel, if I'm remembering this incorrectly, I apologize. It wasn't a strength thing. Strength was part of it, but it wasn't solely a strength thing. It was a mental and reactionary thing. And in that regard, they could use the female recruits. And if Halsey had thousands and thousands of child prodigy young boys, she probably would have gone with those over the girls. But she had like 150 candidates, and those 150 candidates, she didn't get all of them. She only got 75 of them. And then like half of those were expected to die. Yeah, exactly. Also with that, like, I mean, granted, they weren't expecting to have to fight brutes. They were expecting to fight other humans. But a Spartan against a Sangheili in a one-on-one fight, if it's an upper-level Sangheili, I bet money on that Sangheili. A brute, especially if it's a brute like Atriox, who's also rocking power armor, that Spartan stands no fucking chance. We saw what happened in Halo Wars 2 when the Spartans try to go head-to-head with a brute in power armor. It does not end well.
True. I mean, I didn't realize there was more to it than that because I only played the video games. But that's why also though all those women who whine about female space marines, I'm sorry, not happening. No. And I mean, don't.
You can do whatever you want with your own tabletop miniatures and come up with your own bullshit reasons why it works. We're talking about the official lore. Even GW recently put out like an article in White Dwarf that was basically like, yeah, no, only dudes can be marines. Like we're setting this in stone because probably because they want to like sell Sisters of Battle. And if you've got female space marines, why the fuck would you ever buy Sisters of Battle?
Yeah. No, I'm honestly right now, the whole feminism thing has just, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it because it makes it so much harder and worse for actual women. It's stupid.
You hear that, Samuel? She's a misogynist.
Apparently,
well, I mean,
I don't hate women.
No. Let's test this misogyny of yours.
Okay.
How do you feel about the 19th Amendment?
Wait, that's the right to vote.
Yep.
I think women should have the right to vote, but then I agree with you that not everyone should be able to vote. I think there should be some kind of basic understanding of what you're voting on first before you vote, because some people just vote based on, oh, he looks hot. Like that stupid idiot on The View who's like, I think Gavin Newsom should run for president because he's dreamy. You idiot. Do you really want the rest of the United States to turn into California? No. So I think I think that before you vote, you need to have a better, basic understanding of what you're voting. But that should apply for men and women. And if it just happens, it depends on who knows the issues. Because both sides can be equally stupid about politics.
Yeah. Fair enough. See, I agree that I think that taxpayers and property owners and people who contribute to society should be allowed to vote.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, why the hell are they deciding based
on
our...
if you ask the red pill community, if you agree with women voting, then you're a feminist. I mean, period, across the board. I disagree with that, but that is the sentiment from the red pill community.
I think,
I personally think that we should make the Terran Federation from Starship Troopers. If you want to vote, you got to serve. Whether that be as a soldier,
I like that too.
Whether you be as a soldier, whether you be as a teacher, whether you do something, you need to contribute to society in a meaningful way.
If you don't work,
you don't get a vote.
If you don't work,
it's a hard time for you to have kids. You don't get to serve in government. It's harder for you to get into college. Actually, not that last one. That college is not worth.
No, I agree. No, I think
to get into what it is anyway.
If you're going to make decisions about where tax money goes, you should have a job. Because I mean, if anybody, I don't understand how people can support increased taxes being put on garbage that it's like, excuse me, I work my butt off every day to get paid.
No.
And now you're telling
it's gonna come from the rich people. The 1%. Why are they all going to Brazil? Okay, look, we can solve this by doing it to the new 1%. Why are they going to Brazil? Okay, why are they going to? Okay, look, we promised it was only going to be the 1%, but you're the only people who are left. So Do your fair share while we eat caviar. Okay, great. You're all slaves now. Have fun.
No, but I mean, if I am tired of listening to watching people talking about sending my tax dollars to Ukraine, to mutilating children, to giving drugs to drug addicts, to I remember hearing about a hotel at one point. I was listening to a documentary about alcoholism where they give them booze, and it's like, wait a minute, I work my ass off to get paid, and only to have a large portion of it taken from the government to give to other people who don't get up off their asses and get a job. I'm sorry. Why the hell am I supposed to be? Look, I understand circumstances. For example, I was briefly unemployed because of the coup. But if you can get a job, get a job. And if you don't have one, then you don't get to vote. Because why do you get to determine where my money goes?
Yeah, I was briefly unemployed in the middle of the whole coup thing too. I was actually laid off because of it, and then I was out of work briefly. And during that time, I spent pounding the pavement.
And I actually got
looking for a new work,
job.
and it didn't take me that long because everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, we're getting paid not to do anything like socialists."
Yeah.
No, I say no. I got before I got furloughed, I was on 2 weeks off. I looked for a job at an essential job, right? Even before I got furloughed from my present job, I already had another job.
But I actually agree, and I think that's fair too.
I agree. Women should be
like if you want to have an opinion on war, you should be one of the people involved. Like if you want to have if you want to vote, the people in Congress, they want to make a vote on war, they need to have some sort of sacrifice for sending people to war. Like, one of the reasons I would be fine serving in the military like my mom and my dad did if it wasn't for the fact that I don't want to go either kill people or get killed because some fat cat in Washington wants to like get more money in their pocket. And if there was more responsibility in who went into office and who chose when we went to war, I would be more willing, and I imagine a lot of other Americans would be more willing, given the fact that the Army didn't meet the recruiting numbers.
I think that in order to be commander-in-chief, you should have served in the military.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. We've had too many presidents who haven't.
Yeah,
service guarantees citizenship.
We've had too many presidents who haven't, and we've had at least one that I can think of in my lifetime, whose dad made sure that he stayed out of active combat.
Yeah, this is one of the best books I've ever read.
I have to
details a lot about that. It details a lot about that. You can find it in a PDF form online. A lot of stuff about you want to make a decision for society. You absolutely need to have been someone who's made a hard choice, and I fully agree with that. There are fascisty elements in here. I do agree with, but at the same time, it's also from the perspective of effectively World War II. How many freedoms did you have in World War II? How many, Abraham Lincoln rescinded habeas corpus. You can't use the specific circumstances of that book to judge the whole society.
Yeah, I agree with you there. To be fair, in the interest of full disclosure, and Carrie knows this and Bowen knows this, I'm not a veteran. I have not served in the military.
Yeah. And I wish I had. I regret
so
that.
By my own logic, I would be barred from ascending to the presidency of the United States because that is the not just because it's the highest office in the land, but because it is also the commander-in-chief, the commander in totality of the military. And I think personally that the person who's in charge of the military should understand what it's like to be in the military. In the same way that I think that they make shrinks go through a psychological evaluation before they're certified, right? So that they understand what they're doing and what they're getting into.
Yeah, I agree. And that should be applied to all that, a lot of facets of society. If you if you're going to be the person who's managing the homeless system, you should have to spend a couple of nights in one of those homeless shelters. If you're going to be the person monitoring the police to make sure they're not doing corrupt or evil shit, you should not necessarily walk a beat, but you should definitely be put through a simulation to be shown exactly what to expect if the worst comes to worst. So you walk 10 miles in someone else's shoes before you have the authority to change things so drastically.
Oh, I know from retail.
Yeah, I think cops should be cops and maybe not shot, but they should definitely be tased.
Yes.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases they are.
Yeah, but I mean, I know what you mean from working in retail and having to make these decisions where you go, have you worked a single day in the store itself? you know, when you get these decisions from corporate, and you're like, have you actually worked a single day in an actual store? Because this decision makes absolutely no sense. It's like all it does is make lives of people actually in the stores more difficult. I mean, seriously, I'm beginning to think that all these big retail chains are they just want people to walk in and steal stuff. I mean, you look at the decisions and you're like, my God, you literally want people to walk in and walk out with stuff. As
You
for
mean like California?
oh well, I mean,
Yeah.
and
Carrie,
no, but
real quick, Carrie, you're right. Bush Jr. did serve. He just, was kind of mollycoddled throughout his service. But he did serve. I will grant that. And as far as not being a hypocrite goes, I try not to be.
me neither.
I do my best
Same.
not to be, but I'm sure I slip up somewhere. You know.
I mean, you're a human. It's gonna happen.
Well,
No, well,
I'm an eldritch space entity. I'm not up on all your like little human.
Right? Yeah. You're an eldritch space entity.
And I'm corpus. I'm allowed to be a secret.
And I am the hand of God hovering over the realms of
You know
lowly
what's funny?
mortals.
Actually, that reminds me.
Boogity-boo.
There was
Sorry.
so you know the big push for like everybody's got their own special like 5,000 different pronouns and shit these days, right? What's funny about that is I had somebody on Twitter I was arguing with a couple months ago, and they said, and this, by the way, kids, is why you should stay away from Twitter. It's fucking poison. But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
so this person was saying, well, if a person feels like what they are, then we should acknowledge that and we should like play along with it. And I was like, okay, in that case, I identify as a god. Kneel before me, pay tithe in my name, worship me, and avert thine eyes. No? Thought so.
See, I use something a little bit. I use something a tad bit more reasonable.
Damn straight.
I don't have it with me, but I did when I like my second semester up here. I bought a Roman Centurion helmet from a Ren fair, and ever since then, my response to one of those arguments is, okay, well, if you identify as Zem, I identify as hold on, what was the name I gave myself? Gabriel Amirius Cassius of the 13th cohort, and I demand that you aid me in retaking Rome in the name of our God King Gaius Julius Caesar. Oh, you wish to oppose me? Then you belong on a cross, you fucking degenerate. And just like the absolute shell shock of like, granted,
like
I come off like a fucking psychopath, but it's amazing.
Yeah, when they insist on that shit, you just like lean into it. Be like, all right, well, if you're going to be consistent about this, then you have to acknowledge my idiotic and insane demands too.
I am Gaius.
You know, and that's the way I look at it too. It's like, if you like, especially with the gender pronoun shit, right? If somebody feels like a woman, then we have to acknowledge that they're a woman. Well, no, that's a mental issue. That's a problem. It means that certain neurons aren't firing right. In the same way that if a guy is on the street with a razor cutting into his flesh to get the ants out of from under his skin, right? You don't play into that fucking delusion and hand him a sharper blade. You get him help.
Unless you're in California.
Again, yeah, unless you're in California.
I mean, the funny thing is, they go on about how they're wiping gender norms and stereotypes and all of that, and yet at the same time, that's exactly what they're doing. Because I know that if I had been growing up in this time period, if I were a child right now, they would be telling me that I am not really a girl, because I was very much a tomboy as a child. And even now, I like playing video games. I'm not exactly the most feminine. You see that I don't wear makeup. I'm not girly. If I weren't wearing the hijab, I wouldn't be wearing dresses. I'm not very feminine. But that doesn't change the fact that I was born a woman. I can play video games. It doesn't matter that I'm a woman. And that's why this whole thing is so insulting. And that's why I really don't like it, because you're telling me that a woman cannot play first-person shooters. She has to actually be a guy, trapped in a woman's body. And that's why I find it really, really insulting. It's like, so you're telling me that now, all of a sudden, when I was a child and I was growing up, it was, you can be whatever you want. You can do what you want. You can play what games you want. It doesn't matter. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, no, you like video games? Oh, you're not really a woman. So that's why I'm sick of the whole thing. On top of that, you tell me I need to refer to you when you're not in the room in the way you want to be referred to, because you don't refer to someone by their pronouns when they're in your presence. You're telling me I need to give in to your crazy delusion. Look, you're denying my freedom of speech. If I want to call you, it's no. I hate this whole thing. Though, let me just add this about the theft thing. One of the things that pisses me off completely about theft is you're mooching off of the hard work of the people in the store. The only reason that store can afford to be there is because the people in that store are working their ass off to sell and put out the product and make the product available. So you come in, you're mooching off of their hard work because the store wouldn't be there if they weren't working their butts off to make sure that store was there. I hate thieves, even though it's not even my stuff. And yeah, people are like, yeah, insurance will cover it. It's the fact that this store wouldn't be here if I wasn't working my butt off, along with all my friends who work in the store. Some scumbag, walked off with a MacBook underneath me, and it wasn't even it's a long story, but I hate these people so much because we work so hard, and then you come in here and you just walk out with whatever you want.
Mhm.
But no, I hate the gender thing. I really, really do. And it's worrying me because you're trying to control me even more. On top of that, these are whiny babies who, if you say anything they don't like, look, this isn't meant to sound like a complaint, but you never gave me that luxury. I still have people who say nasty things about Muslims. And you know what? I believe they have the right to do so. But if someone replaces a pride flag with an American flag, they need to be banned. Oh my God, you might be threatening someone's life. No, grow a thicker skin. Listen to, if you look at some of the comments on my Odyssey channel, they're nasty. One person was like, I don't care what country you're from, go back to it. Honey, Habibi, I was born in this country, so shut up. So it's like, this class is all special. No one else. It's like, no. And my favorite is a person who comes into my who comments on my YouTube channel. They're like, you don't understand. There are marginalized people. No, you're not. There are so many other groups that are far more marginalized than you. It's not just Muslims. There's so many other groups that we don't see anything about. But the only diversity you're allowed is the specific ones that they approve of. These people are pathetic, and I'm so tired of it. I'm just between the feminists and the LGBTQ and I'm tired of the whole thing.
Two things. Number one, have I told you how much I love your rants?
They're one
Epic.
of the reasons I subscribed.
Epic.
They are amazing.
And number two, I'm curious about this. So I don't speak Arabic, right? But I hang out with Arabs. So every once in a while we'll use a word like in the context, then I think I get the context. Is Habibi like the southern bless your heart?
No. Well, I guess in a way, Habibi. All right, so Habibi literally means, so first of all, Arabic is gendered. Habibi is for boys, Habibti is for girls. Habibi, it depends on the context you use it in. So it could mean my beloved, my love, Habibi and Nooralain,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like bless your heart in the South can be very genuine, but it can also mean go fuck yourself.
It could be or it could be more like not go fuck yourself, more like kind of like, oh, you sweet one. Oh, like you're being sarcastic, kind
Condescending.
of condescending. Yes. So
It could be
oh,
loving, it could be condescending.
Oh, Habibi, you want me to, kind of like that, where you're condescending.
Yeah, Seven. I feel bad sometimes. Sometimes I will say things specifically in the chats to get a rant going, and I'll feel bad.
I've done that too.
But at the same time, it's just like, especially when you say something that gets her so pissed, she needs to switch to Arabic so she doesn't get banned off YouTube.
So last week
sounds like freaking. It sounds like a German political rally or something at that point.
Yeah.
For some reason, when she talks in Arabic, it sounds like German to me.
Last week's Royal Rumble, man. When I put in the thing that I said about vibrating the stick out of Jennifer Walters' ass, which I thought was hilarious. Apparently, everybody on panel blushed. But anyway, Kat actually missed an earlier thing that I had posted, but Joker Voice did see it. And I put it in there specifically to get her riled up. It was because he was talking about Jason Todd, right?
Oh.
And you said Jason Todd got off easy. So I put in the chat, Jason Todd got off easy. Tim Drake just gets off.
I remember that. I remember he saw like his face after he read that was amazing.
And I was like, please, just let her go off when she sees this. And you didn't see it right away, but
Joker did it. That was worth it.
he did. It was worth it.
See, I thought you were trying to. Not you. I thought you were trying to like tick off Joker. But no, you're trying to get Cat to go.
Yeah.
I love
actually, I think Joker voice is hilarious.
Yeah, he's great. Like, yeah, out of anyone on Royal Rumble, if I could actually get like a voice call with them, Joker voice would definitely be the guy I could get. I would love to have a chat with. That would be amazing. Well, not gonna happen because I am irrelevant, but you know.
No. In fact, I could probably talk to them, and we could get you as a guest sometime.
No, please don't. Like, I don't want you pulling strings like that. Like,
it's not pulling strings. They're always like wanting guests as well. So I'll see if they ever have a week where they'd like you to come on. I mean,
only if I'm like the absolute, like, don't push it. Just like, hey, Legion, I know you need a guest, because I don't know. Like,
don't worry about it. Look,
I'd actually consider getting a hold of Legion Talk too about that. But the fact is Friday nights don't work for me because I'm usually at work when you guys are on.
Right.
But
yeah.
But if any of those guys want to come on here, we're more than happy to have them.
I'll ask them. And like I said, I'm not. Look, as I said, you tortured Kai. So this is me. Like,
I suggested a form of torture that you ended up vetoing. I also suggested you invent the definition of seventh degree chemical burns.
Yeah, you wanted to give Viso 7th degree chemical burns. How can you give Viso 7th degree chemical burns?
I don't know. You're the one who was in a pre-med program. You figure it out. Jeez.
There's no such thing as 7th degree chemical burns.
Invent them.
Why?
Because it'd be funny.
So, Boa, yeah, I know condescending means talking down to people. That actually reminds me of a song lyric, though. Have you guys ever listened to Pussifer?
No, but...
So the lead singer of Tool, Maynard James Keenan, has 2 other bands that he runs with. And one of them is Pussifer, where he writes all kinds of like weird shit. But he did this song called The Remedy, which is, I'd love to play it, but I'm sure we'd get fucking copyright hit for that. But
instantly.
It's, yeah, because Maynard's kind of a dick too, but he does some good music. So anyway, it's called The Remedy, and it's about that kind of thing. And part of one of the choruses is yes, we're being condescending. Yes, that means we're talking down to you. With all that racket from your lips of flapping, we didn't think you'd notice.
I think I've heard that.
I like that.
Sort of lyrics is like, I've heard that. I know
I've
heard that.
And then towards the end, he's like, you speak like someone who's never been punched in the fucking mouth. That's okay. We have the remedy.
It might have been at when I was doing CrossFit before COVID like freaking closed that place down. They would like play music from like just a Spotify playlist. That might be, I don't know that feels kind of varsity for some of the stuff they would play. Like Headstrong from Trapped, I think was the band. Like it was a lot, very rarely explicit. So I don't know.
Oh, but yes, that
but I have heard
good. That. You noticed it, yes. Like he said, it is meant to be condescending, and
yeah, and yeah, Bo, I know it was a joke. I was it just reminded me of that song was all, because I love that song. I want to make it my theme song that plays every time I walk into a room.
But it always impresses me when people remember that. Like sometimes someone will call me Habibti, and it always impresses me because, like you said, Arabic is a gendered language. The only thing is Arab is English, but Arabiya is female for a woman Arab. Masriya versus Masri.
The more you know.
Masri. What he said. No, Masri is Egyptian. Masriya is female Egyptian.
What I said was you speak Russian very well.
Yeah. Oh, I work with a guy who's Russian who knows a few words in Arabic. So we're always joking about it. He's like, when are we going to Dubai? I'm like, Yalla Habibi, let's go. He's like, where's the limousine? I'm like, you call the limousine, I get the plane. We go right away. Yalla.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
Is Russian?
He's Russian, but he knows some Arabic.
Shit.
Who?
Dope.
No, I didn't say Sammy.
I'm American.
No. I work with a guy who's Russian.
No, because like you said, you started speaking in Russian.
Yeah, just a little bit. My Russian is actually very, very, very limited, but I can pull out a couple of things just for fun.
I'm the Exiled Lioness, even though it's my major.
So the exiled lioness is a polyglot. She speaks like 5, 6 languages. She speaks 2 or 3 of them very fluently. The others are
Yo.
less so. Well, one of them is Russian, and it's not one that she's very fluent in. So occasionally, I actually downloaded the Russian alphabet to my phone so that I could send her super chats in Russian because she can't read Cyrillic very well. And it's just funny. It annoys her, and she yells at me offline about it. But it's like when we'll be talking about communism or something, sometimes I'll be like da tovarishchi,
Gotcha.
which means yes, comrades.
Yeah.
No, well, that's
I know some I know da is yes, and I know
She has relatives in Russia. I don't think that she herself actually is
Oh, no,
Russian,
no,
but
no,
I think
no,
through
no,
her
no,
marriage
no.
she has relatives there. Yes, and she was quite young when she spent some time there.
No.
I-
There is no
whenever
such
I
thing
watch-
as Egyptian. Oh, wait. Shadowhawk, 1 sec. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as Egyptian. Egyptians are Arabs. We speak Arabic. I actually had a librarian come up to me once and say, "So do you speak Egyptian?" No, I
think that
don't.
Anybody does, like cats.
Nobody does.
Yeah,
I
there
think
was a
ancient
language
Egyptian
called
is-
Egyptian, but it's a dead language.
It's a dead language. You can't
there's
speak
probably
it.
some people who speak it in the same way that some
No.
people speak proper Latin.
They don't know how it sounds.
Those
anymore.
are scholars, and again, they are out of context because I mean, some of that got passed.
Well, yeah,
down.
no, actually, you're right. It got completely fucked. The only reason we have modern ancient Egyptian is because of the Rosetta Stone. Yeah, you're right. It's completely
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
The only thing that is close to it is, I think it's called. It's not. The Christians in Egypt have a certain language. Only a few of them speak it. The Copts have a language,
The Coptic.
and
Christians.
it's the Coptic Christians in Egypt have a language that they say is the remnant.
It's supposed to be of Aramaic, isn't it?
Yes, it's
Which is also a dead language.
But they're saying it's supposed to be what is left of ancient Egyptian, because they say it goes back to that time period, but they don't even know for sure. So why should I? No, but the problem is there aren't enough. First of all, my Arabic sucks, but second of all, who's going to watch it?
Yeah, there's not much
YouTube
of
is
an audience for
worldwide,
that.
right?
Huh?
YouTube is worldwide.
Yeah. And I get people on my live stream sometimes. There was this guy named Ziad. He comes in every now and then. He stopped, but for a while, every time he would come in, he'd be like, Arabic. And at one point, he was like, don't say visa. So I on purpose, it was like, visa.
Yeah, I think we've also got a few others. Like I think in the Discord, Musa or Musa, however it's pronounced. I think his actual like Discord name is in Arabic, so I assume
Musa?
he's Musa. Let me double check that. I might be spreading fake news. Hold on.
Musa is the Arabic way of saying Moses.
Just for the record, it's not fake. It's not fake news if you're honestly mistaken. It's just a mistake.
So in Discord, his name is Musa, but he's got, I can't read Arabic, but it's like it's something in Arabic. And then I know where is she? Hijabi Police, I know is she wears a hijab, so of course she's Muslim, but I think she is like I think she's like UCAT. She was in the US. Zod is
he's the one.
My discussions with him, I think he's from the Middle East. I'm not 100% though.
I have a lot of, remember Bashi Washi? He's
your buddy Bashi. I remember him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while because he hasn't been playing Destiny. I want to play. I enjoy playing with him. He's cool.
He's been over on Real BBC and FNT quite a bit lately.
The problem with me for Real BBC and FNT is it happens when I'm at work. So even if I use it, I have to actually use my actual cell phone, which the battery is terrible. I'm thinking of switching to a different I have more than one phone because I used to unlock phones when I go to the Middle East, but my Razer phone 2 has a terrible battery. See, it's weird. If I go into a live stream, I cannot see the chat. If that's one of the reasons why it is the weirdest.
Are you using the YouTube app or using the browser?
Even if I use the browser, it's not because of the.
So the YouTube app, on my phone, if I use the browser, it doesn't work. But if I use
it's worse with the app.
I got a Walmart
using the iPhone or the Android?
Let me go grab that.
I'm using a Razer phone 2.
Okay.
The problem is the Wi-Fi. So if I don't use my phone, if I use any other device and I use the work Wi-Fi, if I use my work Wi-Fi, you cannot see the comments. You cannot see live stream comments. You cannot see a
Okay.
YouTube channel's comments. In fact, if I don't answer comments on my my own videos, like for example, I make a video every Friday. If I don't answer, it means I left my cell phone at home because I have to use a data plan. My work's Wi-Fi has these weird limitations where also not a lot of videos will come up. Like some of the Quarterings videos, Steven Crowder, unless I go into it through a certain way, it'll say this video is restricted. It's really, really weird.
So
Like-
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I said like I'm using a Galaxy S9, and I have no trouble with any of this. Like for instance, I'm gonna put something in the chat right now, from my phone.
No, it's the Wi-Fi. That's the thing. Because if I use the data plan on my phone, I don't have this problem. If I use my work's Wi-Fi, then, for example, I noticed it with Destiny 2 when Destiny 2 first. I was looking up Destiny 2 reviews, and I would just get music from Destiny 2.
No, Seven Wand. It is not what you're thinking. It stands for bagging, boarding comics. But I know where you're going with that, which is to say, big black cocks. No, it's it's bagging and boarding comics, but they call it the real BBC as a dig at the British Broadcasting Channel, because it's a whole thing. As has huge issues with those guys. And for anybody who's wondering, yes, that is Cyrillic. It means hello.
Oh, I see what he says on his thing. His name Musa. His name is Musa ibn Rashid. That means Musa, son of Rashid.
Okay. Yeah. I can't read Arabic, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can't read it either. It's really pretty, but it means next to nothing to me.
Well, the problem is, so I sometimes have people coming in my live stream who write in Arabic. And the problem is, on the program, the Arabic is so small, and Arabic has all the dots, so sometimes you really can't see it, and the way it's written. So it's like I can't read the Arabic on.
Yeah, Bo will put stuff in Arabic on Linus's channel sometimes, which there's only a handful of us who can actually read it. We do have several Muslims who hang out in the chat and who participate and all that stuff, and usually they can tell what he's saying. And the Linus herself obviously speaks fluent Arabic, but yeah, I see it and I just see pretty swirly lines.
Well, I just noticed you created a Warframe part for our for the Discord, and everyone's posting pictures of Visa looking pissed.
Yeah.
Last one.
Also, I posted another spot on the Discord for writing. So, like, if you want, because we've got the art spot, Droid posted some of his art there, and I'm like, hey, you know what? On like a smaller scale, in the writing chat, like to post like some smaller snippets, like not full on stories, but like, hey, I need help making this paragraph work. I think that would be good. Sorry that this has turned into like me informing Kat about her server, Samuel.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. We're actually quite a bit over time where we usually go.
Shit! Yeah, that is.
But tonight, in my case anyway, tonight I don't actually have anywhere to be, so I don't mind at all. Most of the time with Saturdays, I've got something that I've got to go do, but tonight I don't believe that I do. I don't know. I haven't owned a calendar since I was like 12, so maybe. But that said, no, we're doing just fine. I just we get to a point and we're just kind of rambling and talking, and that's honestly, man, that's what this channel is all about. It's just having conversations.
Yeah.
And seeing where they go.
Sorry.
When we first started, I tried structuring it with like bullet points and shit and like topics and all that stuff, but the flow wasn't as natural, and it wasn't as I prefer conversations that happen organically. And that's what we're doing here. Like if we never take off, if we never get big, I'm okay with that because I'm doing this because I want to. Not if it becomes like a huge thing, then great. But if not, then that's fine. So we will talk. That's why I say at the beginning of every show, this is where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. And so far everybody's been on board. We haven't had like a mass migration to other sites.
Yeah, it's a great stream. When I tune in, it's an amazing stream.
Well, we appreciate it. glad to have you too, and glad to have
Thanks.
everybody here.
I'm more happy to be here. Like you brought, like I am, in regards to relevancy, I am literally just the guy that bothers Kat in her live streams, and I'm here,
I
which is
appreciate.
amazing.
He's awesome. I honestly I wish we could play more Destiny 2 together because you make it so much more fun. I enjoy our ridiculous.
I don't have my Xbox or my PS4, and I'm not fucking buying all the DLC on my computer.
No, well, any other game then. But it's fun doing, chatting
Guild Wars
with you.
2 is free, right?
Guild Wars 2 is free. The
Is it
base
something
game
I
is
should-
free. Guild
is it
Wars 2,
something I
the
should
base
try
game
playing?
is the base. I don't know if you like MMORPGs. It is the base game is free. Is
I
actually
would
one
be
of
down if I had people to play with. That's like my issue.
I
don't
would
have
play
people
with
to
you. I don't know
I'll give it a look,
in
and
mine
if I've
would
got time on Saturdays, I'll hop on. I will just basically be a bullet. I'll just basically be taking rounds for you while you do all the real work because I don't know what the fuck I would be doing.
Well, Mugzikins also plays Guild Wars 2. But no, even any game, I just like I said, when you and I find when you actually get me into a conversation, we don't stop. Like remember,
Yeah.
like when we were talking about my D&D sheet, and we would randomly go off on ridiculous tangents.
That's just my personality.
And that's my personality, which is why the two of us
Yeah.
can keep driving each other absolutely bonkers nuts.
Neurotic. Poor guy who's regretting bringing on the two of us onto the same stream.
Actually, aside from when I started doing stuff for the Exiled Lioness and stuff was really, and then I started going on to her streams more very early this year. It might actually have been very late last year if my memory's a little fuzzy. Don't do drugs, kids. But it's I started to enjoy doing that more and more. And of course, I've been watching channels like Nerdrotic and later Geeks and Gamers and stuff for a while now, and I really like that format. And so I kind of wanted to do that. So they were actually those guys, Ryan Kinnell, Jeremy Griggs, that were kind of an inspiration for doing this, as well as the Exiled Lioness herself, who was the first person who had me on a panel. And so I decided that that's what I wanted to do with this, not so much. I'm not going all in, like I haven't quit my day job or anything, but
yeah, that's the same with me.
Copy. And it just, we're actually starting to pick up a little speed on this stream. And that's probably because I'm also doing a lot of shameless self-promotion. Because
I'm trying to promote stuff. So
Yeah. And
I really want more people to come because I think this is great that we have a smaller group.
Heart of gold up there.
It's if you keep doing that, it's not
pump it up Samuel, pump it up even a crazy person like me.
Yeah, if you keep plugging us, Cat, we're not going to stay small.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Which is fine.
I'm not that big. I mean, like I the only reason I would want my channel to get big enough so a lot of people notice it is because, like I've said in the past, to me, I don't make YouTube videos. Honestly, the videos that I finally do release, other than the Destiny ones, take a lot of work. But I feel like I have a responsibility to speak up because I have an ability to. I mean, look at me. My opinion, they can't attack me over the same things like Jeremy or Ryan. When like the guy on Twitter with Rings of Power, you don't like minorities and you don't like women. Hello.
Yeah.
So
and
it's like.
Yeah. Real quick, Boa here is right. The hardest part is getting past being, like it's difficult to tell people, hey, shout me out, because it's like you kind of feel like you're stepping on somebody's toes. That's a little rough, and I don't do a lot of other social media besides Twitter. And the only reason I'm on Twitter was actually to help Amira out.
And I just look, if I have a large enough channel to promote other people promoted me, and that's why one of the reasons why I get really, really angry when people like just put down Jeremy Griggs, because I hate it when people who've never even interacted with him. And what I've seen of him, I respect him. Not even the fact that just the way he treated the whole thing with Zack Snyder, and how he has a very responsible, mature attitude towards how he handled. He's clearly someone with management experience. He when people are like he hates minorities, it's like he went out of his way. He did not have to. After he promoted my channel, he could have simply dumped me. But the only reason I monetized, the only reason is he gave me advice on how to do it. That's why I don't like it when people insult him, because I have interacted with him, and to me, Jeremy is an absolute gentleman, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, like I told you this before, Kat. I'd rather take the bastard who is rough and tumble but a good guy at the end of the day, rather than the guy who tries to pretend he's so nice because he's hiding something rotten on the inside.
Well, in my case, I don't have a problem with people promoting, especially if it's a channel I know and people that, I think are good people and I want to promote. Samuel, I want to promote you. Shadowfog, if you finally say Kai instead of Key, I might promote you more. It's Kai.
So it's conditional love then.
Only for him.
I'm the warlock. She's the patron. I'm the warlock. She's the patron.
In his case, there's a condition because he keeps calling Kai Key.
And that's been my experience with like Ryan Kinnell, for instance. That guy gets a lot of shit from a lot of people because he's very outspoken about a lot of things, but he has always been in regards to super chats, and I've interacted with him in chats a couple of times. He even came over to Amir's channel once and was in the chat there. He has always been regardless of what his public persona is, very kind, and he's always been very, very cordial, very polite to me anyway.
And me too. I actually, this is funny. I interacted with him before he even met me on YouTube. So, I can't, once we're off chat, I could maybe go into a little more of the details, but I contacted Ryan over something for a while before I ever was noticed by Jeremy. So after the fact, because I was using a different email address and stuff, I was like, oh, by the way, because at first he knew me so he met me separately in both. So I sent him an email from my email. I'm like, by the way, I'm the hijabi gamer. He was like totally like unconnected. I was contacting him about The Last of Us Part 2. And okay, I was giving him numbers on the sales figures. On how many copies were actually being sold and how the sales were going. And I was his.
And how many were put back after Summer of Love Riot?
Yeah. So I contacted him over that, and that was weeks before I was on Geeks and Gamers for the first time. So then I contacted him through my email. I'm like, by the way, I'm the same person. So but when I contacted him via email, he was an absolute gentleman. That's why I admitted at the beginning, I'm like, I have a soft side for Ryan because of that. I had known him long before, like.
Yeah, he seems like a really, really good dude. The limited interactions I've had with him, I'd actually love to have him on just to talk to him. I think he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah, when he very, very good guy. When he left their advanced G&G streams and stuff, I stopped watching after he left because he was, to me, like the best part of those streams. He's a very charismatic guy. He's got a lot of personality to him. Just very enjoyable to watch.
And on point with the wit. He is on top. Like that guy is so quick with his wit that it's just it's almost scary.
The guy is great.
Oh, and he has a beard, which makes him look handsome. So,
dude, fuck. Beards are amazing.
He didn't.
If you can't grow a beard, you ain't a man. That's why I ain't a man, because I can't grow a beard to save my life.
You need a beard. Yes, I think that's one of the reasons why, at least in my case, I find a man with a beard more attractive. It's because it shows me you are an actual real man.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can grow it here, I can grow it here, and I can grow it here. I can't grow it here. So when I do grow it, it looks white trashy, and I want like a nice, good beard, and I can't grow one because I'm only 19. And
eventually, you'll be able to grow one. Eventually.
Hopefully. I hope I didn't get one thing that my dad jokes about that might be true that I don't want it to be is this part does grow and it's just blonde. That would be horrible because down here is like brown.
Oh,
that would be because then I would need to grow this out so freaking long. It would be horrible because if you're looking at my hair, it's like.
My brother had that kind of hair. My brother, when he was younger, had that color hair. That's why when I see you, it's like, oh my God, you look like my brother Ibby. My brother had that hair. It's like, that's so weird.
Well, this is because of freaking working as a lifeguard. Like the brown is what my hair is normally, but the blonde is because lifeguarding. My skin, and my hair get way, way differently colored than what I normally look like.
Yeah, it's sun bleached. My hair used to be very, very dark brown. Now it's pretty salt and pepper. But
Yeah.
and my beard is almost entirely white except for a patch of red just below my lips.
So in the words of
Even
Jeremy
the,
Boring,
even the Eldritch being is more of a freaking man than me.
Wait,
He's
so
got a
you're-
beard.
wait, so you're svelte silver fox with a salt and pepper beard that's the envy of lesser men.
I mean, I don't know about svelte, but sure. But no, it's just, the beard thing that comes with time because of my genetics.
Yeah.
I come from a very hairy people and a very not hairy people in the facial region.
Yeah.
I'm mostly German with a lot of Native American.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, so my chin and my mustache will grow out real long, but the sides are pretty thin.
So basically, you're perfect.
I can't even explain it because, like, my family is, I mean, it's American. We haven't been from Europe for like since like the last,
So you've been-
like the
you've been
most
taking-
recent would be like 1930s, 1940s. Bavaria, Scotland, Ireland, maybe Italy is like where we can get some roots on my on my dad's dad's side. Maybe some Cherokee, but that's kind of iffy because it could also be African American.
Well,
because those are interchangeable.
Now earlier you said you were going to school at OSU, right?
Not OSU.
Not
Norman.
OSU.
University of Oklahoma, not Oklahoma State University. OU, University of Oklahoma. It's weird.
The Sooners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So are you? I'm just curious. Are you from Oklahoma?
No.
No. Okay. Then that makes sense because a lot of people from Oklahoma have at least 2 of the 5 civilized tribes blood in them.
Yeah, I would kill to have some fucking Comanche or Apache. Like those
on my mother's side.
Those
I
were
have 3.
badasses.
Yeah. So and then my father's side, Oglala Lakota.
Yeah, no, currently my family's living in Texas. We're not from there either. Mom's from California. My dad's from Memphis. I was born in Florida. My brother and sister, Maryland. And I was in my seventh school in 7th grade. Not because I was a bad kid, but because we were moving around so much. Again, both parents were military. Mom dropped about the time I came around. Dad served until like 5 years ago. So
fair enough.
Yeah,
so you were likely to have like Iroquois or something then.
Whereas I don't think I have.
Possibly.
Any.
I don't know. I don't know if we I don't know. There's possible. I don't know if we have any native. I don't know if I've got any Native American in me. And if I do, it is heavily diluted.
Yeah. See, where I live, like everybody looks white, but almost everybody's mixed in some degree or another.
Which is why this whole thing doesn't make any sense because everyone looks and it's just.
Yeah, we're not dogs. We're not like German shepherds fighting about like we don't look the same as Labradors. Humans are humans. We all look fairly the same.
I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to put this out there just so that it doesn't come back and haunt me later. Yes, my great-grandfather bought a woman from the tribe. That's how it happened.
Cool. Hey,
I don't know too much beyond that. They were dead before I was born, but
hey, cool. I have no idea what my ancestor did.
I'm just noping.
I didn't do it.
Hey, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Why not? You know what? Interesting history.
Kat, I don't think human trafficking is cool.
No, but I mean in the sense that he knows about it. At the time, it wasn't cool. But now it's like, wow,
maybe if I was Danish, I'd be down because they got that whole history of being like human traffickers.
Dude, you are missing the point here. Her tribesmen sold her.
Yeah, no, I'm making a joke. No, I totally got that part.
No, I'm just saying it's interesting.
My freaking history class.
That is your history. It's not cool then, but now looking back, it's like that is part of who my family is from. It is an interesting history. I mean, I have a lot of Egyptian family. We kind of weren't exactly. Anyway.
Yeah. No, like that thing about the tribe. Like it's my history class has gone so freaking hard trying to avoid that teeny tiny little detail about where one part of the transatlantic slave trade was involved. And I didn't bring it up because I don't want to have to deal with that. But like it just with the thing, and Ghana and Mali, like this like whole like like this, like there was even one kid in one of them in the not kid, we're about the same age, of course, but there was this one guy. I mean, I could call him a kid. I'm a kid. He's a kid. Whatever.
You're a kid.
Yeah, exactly. In my in like our discussion group, not discussion group. That feels a little too religious, but like in our in the group that like discusses the lecture, who was like he with a straight face was like I can't remember exactly how it was, but described British people going deep into Africa and taking people back with them to work off plantations. I bit my tongue so hard because I knew if I had called that out, I would have been ripped to fucking shreds.
Yeah,
You're better than me.
Here, Boa says, ask the Irish about being slaves 800
No.
years and all that. And that's true. But
they're
if you
white, they don't count.
If you want to go that far, then let's talk about the fucking Slavs.
Yeah, that's why it's called slaves.
Again,
the
white,
Slavs,
they don't count. White people were never enslaved. White people were never
and they were enslaved by the Mongols for like 1,000 years.
The Mongols were Asian. They never had slaves. Double think. It's time for the double think, boys and girls.
Yeah, I don't do that.
It is insane. They are crazy.
Funny story too. Actually, the Czech word for slave is robotnik, which is where we also get the word robot from.
Oh,
huh. Cool.
Fun fact.
Oh, good. I don't have a Roomba in here. Thank God.
Oh, and the Czechs are Slavs.
Yeah, I know.
So
I mean, it's just
Slavs are robots. Illuminati confirmed.
Aha.
That's how the Ukrainians are holding the line.
Aha.
Yeah, Carrie's probably right about this. He is a historian. But yeah, they were the Slavs were conquered by the Mongols. They were conquered by the Romans. They were conquered by the Rus Vikings.
Wait, Samuel, I got a way to prove how accurate Carrie is. Carrie, who was better, Pompey Magnus or Gaius Julius Caesar?
Hey, he's Thug McCoy. He's always right. Thug McCoy. Did you see his avatar?
I don't care if there's a correct answer to this, and if he gets it wrong, he's a liar.
Yeah, but he's Punk McCoy. He's Thug McCoy.
I don't care.
McCoy. McCoy.
Gaius Julius Caesar or Pompey Magnus? Who's better?
Hey, I'm just proud of the fact that I created 4 different Doctor characters. Not a single one of them is a clone of McCoy.
Kat, I hate to tell you this, but every single one of them is exactly the same as McCoy. And I knew that was going to break you, so I didn't tell you.
No, they're not like McCoy.
Every single one of them is exactly like McCoy.
No, they're not.
Damn it, Jim, I'm a corpus, not a McCoy.
Damn it, Jim, I'm a corpus. I now refuse to answer to chat. Sorry, I'm a few seconds behind. I now refuse to answer.
He'll jump in after we close off the stream, and we'll talk.
Yeah, no worries. It was mostly a joke. It's clear that Julius Caesar is the correct choice and the only good choice.
Oh, I had an orange Saturn that I named Kaiser.
Yeah, Kaiser.
It's sort of a threefold pun. Kaiser being the Germanic word for Caesar, which actually was the correct pronunciation of Caesar in the first place.
Kaiser.
And also because it was orange, and there's a place called Orange Julius where you can get a tasty treat.
Ooh, yes.
So it was like a threefold pun. I named my orange car Kaiser.
Ah.
Kaiser.
That's kind of cool. Cool.
Barbarians was so good. The movie Barbarians, I loved that show, Barbarians. Yeah, like that show Barbarians. Oh, that was such a good show.
Oh, you know what the word barbarian means, right? It means stranger.
Yeah. But on Netflix, there's a show that was made by the Germans, which do not watch it. Like it was the first time I ever truly experienced the whole like dubbing issue, and it could just be because like whenever I'm watching a lot of like anime, it's typically someone who could be a native English speaker, but like it's clear that the tribesmen aren't native speakers. Anyway, watching that, I fucking loved it. It was so good with it's so good. It's got a really good story. There is a little bit of that like feminist. There is like a level of like girl power feministy shit, but it's still like weaved into the story in a way like it's not called out as girl leading the tribe. It's person stepping up and doing her fucking part. It is so good. It is so good.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. That it's that they don't speak Latin, and that's why it's like, wait a minute, so we're all barbarians.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Just
So
like
I'm a barbarian.
it's
I'm a
one of those things.
barbarian.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It was a blanket term applied to outsiders like gaijin or gringo or pagan or what's
Agnebi.
infidel.
Or Catholic, since Catholic and pagan is synonymous.
Well, no, because
I know it's not.
We do not claim the Catholics. Fuck the Catholics. They're not us. They stole from us, but they are not us. We are not the same.
Well, I mean, by definition, they're
And by the way, for
idols.
any Catholic viewers watching, I don't have a problem with you personally, just your ancestors and your religion. Moving on.
Protestant, I have an issue with the church, not the people in the church.
Yeah. That's it. And now we're getting a little bit spicy, so I probably am going to close up the stream.
Most of my takes and like generalizations are meant to be jokes. I don't hate all France. I just hate.
We're good.
Aspects of France.
I was trying to make a joke too, but
oh, gotcha. My bad. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah. I got to put the dance music on. The dance music on for the dancing monkeys. We are YouTube, your dancing monkeys. I am grateful for all of you for being here. Very much so. We have our wonderful guest tonight. Kat hates Amazon Prime Video, which, by the way, I say guest. She's not a guest. She's a regular. She's a member of the show. And our guest Shadow of Hawk 55. Sorry about that.
No worries.
You guys got anything you want to plug coming up?
No.
I might live stream tomorrow. I don't know, because I think we're going out for brunch tomorrow because of my brother.
Yeah.
One of them. I have a lot of them. If you need a brother, I'll sell you one of mine.
Fair enough.
I would plug my channel if I was more regular with uploads, but I'm not. So
well, that's all right. I already put the link in the description. So.
Ha! He put the link. You're stuck now. He put the link in the description.
It's too late. I can't go back.
Too late. It's too late. Oh,
this is a good desk. Ow, that hurt.
It sounded like it.
I can answer that. I've asked her this question before. Not that specific phrasing of the question.
Oh man, no, not on stream. We'll talk about that after.
Yeah, no.
That's rough, dude. All right. So, meanwhile, I do have something. Lawrence Knight and I are probably going to make that Thursday night stream a more regular thing. Haven't decided if it's going to be weekly or bi-weekly yet, but it will probably be weekly. It's called Abyssal Musings because I'm trying to kind of keep a cosmic horror theme going with the names here. You know, the screaming into the darkness, soul streams are whispering in the dark, and then abyssal musings. Abyssal meaning, bottom of the ocean. Cool. That said, but that will probably be during the week, and I understand if you guys can't make it during the lives because I realize everybody's got day jobs and stuff, and it will probably be kind of late for y'all because I can only do them after I get off work. But they will be there for later viewings. First episode's already up, went up 2 days ago. I think it was pretty good. We talked about all the ass rape on HBO and horror movies mostly, and the weather. And then as always, you can find us here on Saturdays, approximately 4 p.m. Mountain Time, Screaming into the Void, which is the primary show on this channel. So grateful to have you all here. Grateful to be here. Hey, there's Lawrence himself. And Lawrence, I sent you the link earlier. We're going to probably chat a little bit after I close up the stream offline. You're welcome to join us. And yeah, so thanks for coming all. And remember, YouTube, not only are we your dancing monkeys, as demonstrated by my lovely co-panelist here. All right, stop. But we're here for your endless amusement. And remember, YouTube, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. Night, everybody.
I prefer the flaming cobras.